Good evening and welcome to EGI2 Stream 16. We do have a hype train started right now, and I will honor my promise to tell a story, a fable, a moralistic tale from a deep well of memory, the deep well of memory from which we all pull the deep well, the deep well of memory from which we pull the memories, the well that we all share. We share the well. And from that well, I will share the story, but I want to say that if we can keep this hype train short, and maybe if the spirit is still with us in a little bit, we'll come back to the story. We could potentially do a hype train later, simply because we do have a very special guest with us this evening. The secret guest, we weren't sure if he was gonna make it. But he has made it tonight. It is, in fact, Night Dive founder and CEO Stephen Kick has returned to the show. And Stephen, before I continue on into the introduction with you, I want to just say that the story tonight will deal with. We've talked mostly about prehistorical times. We've talked about the sort of medieval Dark Ages period. This is a more recent period. This is a kind of the factory period, when factories. It was the first time that there were factories. So this is a shop floor type of period, thinking early 19th century, New England, France, Dutch, Danish factories where people would come and remember, of course, Stephen, I'm sure the story of the sabot. Stephen, we already okay, so we want to probably hold off on the hype train again, so we don't have to. We do have Stephen Kick with us. We have a lot to talk to him about, because there's so many interesting things that they're doing over there at Night Dive Studios. We have special correspondent Allan Resnick is here with us, and we have to get back to the story right now, because we do have the hype train going, Stephen. And I'm sorry, I did warn you about this, that this might happen. I tried to head it off, but unfortunately, there is no stopping this hype train, except it is up to the audience to stop the hype train, and then we can get on and talk to you a bit about the business in which you find yourself. You found yourself founding your own company of Night Dive Studios. You found yourself creating remasters and also rebuilds of fantastic old games. But the fact of the matter is that we have to talk about this factory period. I want to say the early factory period. We're talking about the early 19th century in your England, France, maybe some of the western reaches of Russia and Italy, I believe. Allan, of course, you have. What's that? Say that again, Stephen.
The age of sexy werewolves.
No, there were no sexy werewolves that we know of at the factories at this time. There was no. People were this is the sexual nadir of human civilization. The early factory period. So people weren't going. They weren't doing. They were so busy with the new factories, Allan, that they just couldn't. They couldn't. What I'm trying to say is that people, even the ones that wanted to do the factory business, the people were so focused on building these gears and pipes and putting plugs into wooden plugs into wooden holes that they had tired themselves out, and you see a precipitous fall of human population in this time period. A lot of people, because factories were new, a lot of people attribute this fall in human life and human reproduction to the fact that there were all these new factories and causing all these new factory accidents. People were goring themselves on various on various protrusions, wooden, metal, glass was new. So this is the first time that we had true glass. The true glass that we now see and that keeps us separate from the indoors to the outdoors. So, but the fact of the matter is that so many people were the industriousness of the human society, the industriousness of our human race had been slam danged by the amount of work and amount of productivity that we had found by creating these shop floors. Before there were, of course, unions and weekends and various health concerns that we now concern with ourselves with Stephen Kick and Allan Resnick. But we have to consider that as a result of that productivity, as a result of that output, and us all having new sort of baubles to put on our various Christmas trees, our holiday trees and ornaments, that the amount of time that we got to spend with one another, the simple human connection, the sort of fleshy warmth, the gasping and the petting had slowed down considerably. Oh, and the hype train is over. So great to have you with us, Stephen Kick. Thank you for sticking with that. If you do, we will remind everybody that hype train. Oh, it's not quite over. It's not quite over yet. We do have 1 minute left. So sorry, Stephen Kick. There was a bit of a delay that the hype train was. I thought the hype train was over, but it's not over. So keep talking about this. The lack of obviously, Stephen, you've been in relationships before. You're a handsome man. You're a dashing gentleman with I would say Romanesque features. If I were to take your body, if I were to take your very obviously well-developed human body, and I would place you on a pedestal and spray you with white paint. First of all, you would get I would imagine, quite sick, which we wouldn't want to see, because obviously we don't know, even as CEO of a company, you don't want to spend too much time in the hospital these days. What with all of the doctors, so we would want to make sure that you were protected, is what I'm trying to say, Stephen Kick, because if there's one person that should be protected in all of this, and that is to say, one person whose industriousness has not been, it's over. Thank you. Thank you, Allan Resnick, for being with us, Allan, tonight. Well, how are you feeling tonight?
Yep.
And it's always great to have Allan with us here, brought in from outside to give us to keep his fingers on the pulse of what people are saying out there on the street overnight and during the day. Stephen Kick. So, Stephen, we've brought you in for one reason and one reason only, and I'll say, we brought you in for several reasons, but there's one reason that really teed it all off, and I want you to talk about the remastering that you are going to be doing of the classic 3DO first-person shooter, and a lot of people hear classic 3DO first-person shooter and they immediately think one game only, and that's Killing Time.
Lego Island 2.
What?
Oh, Lego Island 2. Sorry, I would.
Killing Time. But you didn't go with the flow, Stephen Kick. You didn't go with the flow. You went against the current. You stuck your stick in the ground. You stuck your stick in the river, and it branched off in one path, and you followed the weird path, is what I'm trying to say. I mean, you decided to release 3DO's PO'd, remaster and re-release it on modern consoles with all of the updates with Keck's engine. Let's see the trailer for that right now. Oh, sorry. Did we do that? Did I do that? Oh, sorry about that. Well, there's the trailer for PO'd. It's coming at you. It's coming to you live. It's coming to you soon from Night Dive Studios. Stephen Kick, I want to get down to brass tacks. I want to get down to business. You're there. You're lying in bed at night. You're looking up at the ceiling. You're saying to yourself, "What has life wrought? What have I wrought with life? life is a tool, isn't it, Stephen Kick?
Yes, absolutely. We're all tools.
We're all tools. We're all tools at the mercy of the great shambling madness that is life, and yet you seem to always find some meaning in it by scrounging in the dirt, by breaking your nails on the concrete as you find these absolute gems and pull them out and shove them down our throats with the Kex engine, with the Night Dive team. And what was your thinking when you decided to endeavor to bring PO'd back to us from the pit?
Well, as a matter of fact, our lead engine programmer, Sam Villarreal, otherwise known as Kaiser, he approached me one day and just simply asked for me to acquire the rights to PO'd. So I did. It's all he wanted, and I gave it to him, and now it will be the burden of everyone.
So what I want to know, Stephen Kick, is that you obviously you're a historian among other things. You are a historian as well as just a great capitalist. And I want to just ask you that if you will say you obviously knew that there were two iconic 3DO first-person shooters, and you must admit that there's one of them is Killing Time. So you heard PO'd, but someone said PO'd, but you didn't hear Killing Time. You heard PO'd.
Yes, that's true. Killing Time, great game. Definitely needs a remaster, and I'll do something about that.
And we're telling right. This breaking news. We got the breaking news. Breaking news. Stephen Kick is considering bringing Killing Time back from the brink, back from the abyss, from the oblivion that awaits us all, especially if we are all 3DO first-person shooters.
Yes, and you know what? I'll say it here right now. If we can get another hype train going and another sexy history story from Robbie, Killing Time, it's coming.
Oh, we can't do that right now because we do have to ask you the hard-hitting questions, Stephen Kick, because I know that and if anybody starts a goddamn hype train, I'm gonna flip this table and I'm gonna break all the windows that I see when I run out of here. Screaming and shouting, because we got to get to the truth. We have to find out what Night Dive is up to, because you're doing the alchemical nonsense that you people are pulling out of your keisters is just driving me absolutely nuts. I saw that trailer for PO, and I thought to myself, these people are unstoppable. They're doing all the things that I wish that they would be doing, and that means that they're reaching into. Did I tell you the story? I can't remember if Stephen Kick, have I told you the story about Ghost Rider 2099?
No, but you know what? I'm going through a comic book renaissance of my own, and I would love to hear your story of Ghost Rider 2099.
Flashback to the year 1993, Stephen Kick. I was a teenager. I was obsessed with Marvel Comics. I was obsessed with the early 2099 universe, and I says to myself, I says to myself, Robbie Rackleff, you love Spider-Man 2099, you love Doom 2099, you love Ravage 2099, you love the 2099 annual, which revealed Hulk 2099. What's
X-Men
next?
2099.
What's that?
X-Men 2099.
Well, and Stephen Kick, you and me were in the same place, in the same headspace in 1993, because I says to myself, Robbie Rackleff, I bet they're going to do X-Men next, and what they did, Ron Lim, with the writing assist from, I think, Fabian Nacese, the Fabian feller.
Uh-huh.
You know what it's, Allan, you're the X-Men 2099 expert. What's the deal there?
It's like I'm seeing double, two Robbies, that you were in the same place at the same time, with the same that you had the same thought about the X-Men.
But that was the obvious one, wasn't it, Steven? X-Men 2099, because X-Men was a sin. We were all reading the Uncanny X-Men. We were all reading the X-Men, the just regular X-Men, X-Factor, X-Force,
X-Men Adventures,
Adventures of Cyclops and Phoenix, the whole 9 yards. So we knew that X-Men 2099 was coming. But then what did I do? Well, first my parents got divorced, but then shortly after that, I sat down with the old brain there, and I sketched it out. I said, "What's next? Is it going to be? Is it because we all knew that the Midnight Suns was on the horizon too, was coming up?" And I said, I says, "It doesn't make any sense, Stephen Kick." I says, "Ghost Rider 2099 doesn't make sense, but my heart yearns for it." And a few months later, there it was on the source shelves.
Yes, that's correct. Hey, I just realized I have a comic book on my desk. Do you want to see it?
Yes.
Okay. EC Comics. Tales from the Crypt.
Tales from the Crypt. Weird fantasy.
Weird
Are there any short stories in there, or is it just comics? Or is it just the funny pages?
Stories.
It is all. You got the short stories one.
Oh yes.
There's no funny pages.
I'm a big EC Comics fan, so I had to.
So you can see
comic collection.
Stephen, you can see where you kind of see where I'm coming from here. There's a bit of an astral chain, and not to use that word too lightly, because we all know about what happens when the astral chain is flung out from one body into the ethereal night of another.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I remember last time we got together, I think all we did was talk about Savage Dragon.
Well, the Savage Dragon, we can't talk about Savage Dragon right now because we do have to talk about Killing Time, because I want to know, you're obviously you're doing a lot of business with PO. You're rushing to get that thing on the shelves, but what was the biggest impediment to porting this game from the 3DO and PlayStation? Let's not forget that there was a PO'd, Allan, of course you remember the PO'd port for the PlayStation, but what's the opposite of preceded? Reseeded?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what's the follow-up? Stephen Kick.
Biggest impediment. This is a rare case where the original creators, known as Any Channel, when we approached them, they said, "Yes, we have PO'd. We have the source code, and here it is." And they handed it over to us, and we took a look at it, and Sam Villarreal, otherwise known as Kaiser, he evaluated the code, and he claimed that it's probably the cleanest, most well-organized, readable source code he's ever seen. And so it was just magnificent. It was a beauty to behold.
I picture when someone hands you the source code, it's probably something unglamorous. But in my mind, the source code is all handwritten with little napkin sketches, drunk nights at the bar, just wild dreams after drinking absinthe with the buds. And was there any sort of artifacting, is what I'm trying to ask, when it came to digging through that original code?
You know, I'll have to ask if they came across anything saucy, because that's usually where the good stuff is.
Uh-oh.
Allan, I want to get your opinion on this and what you people are saying they're out there on the street in the EGI2 universe about PO'd, because this is a game that we've mentioned a few times, but of course, like I have said several times in the last 20 minutes, we oftentimes gloss over the simple existence of PO'd because the perhaps more flashy first-person shooter game on the 3DO console, Killing Time, takes up a lot of the oxygen that perhaps PO'd could also use to live.
So you need it. It's like gasoline for the blood, oxygen. And there can be two. We gotta remember this both games. Earlier, I wanted to say that PO'd, it's more, the way that you were talking about it, it's more like P code, and the P would maybe stand for pretty.
I wanted to say, Stephen Kick, whenever you come across this feller Kaiser up there in the night dive homeland there, does it trouble you at all that he's got the name of the former German military commandant?
I believe his name is in reference to the dinner roll.
What?
Like a Kaiser roll, you know.
But don't you think his name would sound better if it had a slight echo on it?
Yeah, I'll have to ask him to add that. I think you're right.
A lot of people say, Stephen Kick, that they say that World War I was a needless conflict.
Here we go. Okay.
Where do you fall on that, historically
No,
speaking?
I mean,
The war to end
obviously
all wars.
we don't. What's that, Alan?
The war to end all wars.
War to end all wars, and yet there we were, several wars later, still fighting it.
I think that maybe if one side had developed steam power mechs, that it would have ended all wars. But unfortunately, we didn't get to that tech tree in time, and here we are.
No, and in
Hundreds
fact,
of years later, fighting the same war without mechs.
and in fact, and of course, with the fall of the Kaiser, the fall of the Prussian Empire itself, you had the fledgling democracy, the republic that followed was weak in the crib, Alan, weak in the crib, and ready for a crib robbery, you might say.
Yep.
So whenever you see Kaiser, just watch your back, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these monarchists will undermine your decision-making process.
Someone really horrible rose to the Kaiser role.
Stephen Kick, I want to know. You've obviously you're so busy. I wonder if you even have time to play the games that you guys have been putting out so much good stuff. I wonder if you have time to play other games besides the ones that you are obviously playtesting and making sure are bug free.
Oh my God. I've been playing a lot of Minecraft Dungeons with my son.
Minecraft Dungeons,
like a little kid version of Diablo.
Does that and that's doing it for you?
Yeah, he's only 4,
right?
So he's learning how to use a controller, and he loves Minecraft, and it's a game that we can both play together on the couch. We also play Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge.
Absolutely.
Super fun game. And then at nighttime, I'll just own it up, but I've been playing Fortnite.
You're playing Fortnite. Alan, you've played a little bit of Fortnite, I believe?
You know what they say is if Shredder wants to take revenge, he should dig 2 graves. One for his enemy, but also one for himself.
Stephen Kick, I've been doing the whole thing, introducing my youngster to video games, and I've been starting with No Man's Sky, and it doesn't seem to really click for him. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's the simple polygonal graphics that really gravitate for my son. What I'll do every day when I'm making his lunch for school is I will draw him a picture of a mob, one of his very favorite mobs. And it only gets him more amped up to come home and play video games, which is all I could really ever ask for. I'm pretty sure he's playing games right now.
So what you're trying to suggest is perhaps because we spend so much time on those main 3 tabs in the inventory screen of No Man's Sky, if I just maybe printed out some photographs of that with some arrows pointing at various nodes that we could be building on together, if we had, of course, the resources, just the massive amount of resource extraction that we could be accomplishing as a familial unit, then perhaps he would come home from daycare and wish to take that journey with me. Whatever 20 or 30 hours into the game it may require of simple rock bursting and digging.
In World War I, they used to force the children into the mines for those precious alloys that, would unfortunately not go towards building mechs, but, other things such as small light tanks and ammunition.
Bullets.
But, when the war ended, the children came out of the mines, but I think that they love it, and they crave it, and they desire the mines, and I think that's why Minecraft is so popular.
It's the McDonald's play palaces.
Exactly. Alan, what is it about kids in these mines? Stephen Kick seems to be touching on something about childcare that I haven't quite processed for myself. In fact, perhaps what the issue is that with No Man's Sky you have the multi-tool, which does a great deal of the work of the digging and the extracting for you, when in fact perhaps if we simply had our hands, picks, shovels, and perhaps just a few sticks of dynamite, that we could be having a much better time trying to put our settlement together.
Mine or no mine, you got that dynamite, and the baby, you got to be careful. Doesn't matter where you are.
Stephen King, I would like to. This isn't quite a game. I don't consider myself someone who plays games with people. But I wanted to play. I want to see if I can play a game with you, which is called Yes or No. We played a little bit of this last time, and I just want to know what. Obviously, we want to see what games you're thinking about putting out there. If there's a hint, maybe we could flash. If we catch something in your eye, if we catch a little glimmer or a bit of a shine, I might be able to see. I might be able to see what kind of stuff you guys are working on. You can say yes, or you can say no, but you can't say anything else. And unless I stop you and I extract it from you in the same way that I might extract some sort of alien mineral that I use to create boards.
I'm game. I just have a terrible poker face, as you know, and I'm gonna smile and glimmer and glint no matter what you say.
And if I step on anybody's toes, if I step over the line, you can try to shout me down, but I promise you, I used to work the door at a club, Stephen. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I've tossed bodies through holes.
You've got that like raw Russian gangster kind of body.
I think I moved to Los Angeles to get into the entertainment business, but the thing is that I feel like I missed an opportunity when I was a youngster, Stephen. I feel like I've got the body, I've got the face, I've got the brow of just an evil boyfriend from like a Poison the Well music video. What do you think about that?
Can I drink on this stream?
Allan?
Was it Club Omega that you were the bouncer at from Mass Effect?
Ooh.
Calm down there, Allan. Stephen,
I hear that music now.
Just let's yes or no. We have the intro video for yes or no.
So
there's no intro video for yes or no. What's that, Stephen?
You remember Demonoid? It was a torrent sharing website. I have a killer ratio on Demonoid, and it's all due to that music in Mass Effect, the club music, because it was never officially released on a soundtrack, so I had to track it down, and then I made my own torrent. Man, that ratio was good. You can still download it, probably. Yes or no?
No. God, no. No, I'm not a music person, Stephen. I'll just put that out there.
Okay.
As soon as you and Allan started talking about music, I just started thinking about something else.
Do you have a favorite gun in the NPO, Stephen?
The frying pan.
Thank you for that, Allan. So yes or no, Stephen Kick, blood to the chosen.
Sure. Okay. You got it.
You got it?
Yeah.
That's a yes. That's a yes. Breaking news. We got yes for Blood to the Chosen here live on twitch.tv/EGI2. We're not going to let up for a second. We're not going to let them get away with anything. We're getting to the truth. We're getting to the bottom of things. Blood to the Chosen. I would say far less entertaining sequel to, of course, Blood on the PC. PlayStation. Was there a PlayStation port, Allan? I can't remember.
Blood.
Thank you for that, Allan. Stephen Kick, was there a PlayStation port for Blood, or am I just firing my guns off in the air without any thought about where the bullets may fall?
No thought at all.
All right.
Pretty sure it was just on PC.
Blade Force.
We'll hopefully do something about that.
Stephen King, Blade Force. Yes or no? Sticking with the 3DO here. That's
No.
a hard no.
Ooh.
Absolutely not. No third-person blade forcing for Stephen Kick. He's absolutely against it. He doesn't believe in the Blade Force. He's never believed in the Blade Force. You saw the pictures of Blade Force, that weird helicopter man coming at you through the old gaming magazines of the mid to late 1990s, and you said, absolutely not, and never again.
I lined my cage with those magazines.
Line the cage match. You're a killer.
The cage that I sleep in.
The cage that you sleep in, the cage that you're so busy just bashing the bejesus out of people when they come into you asking about Blade Force that you need some time in between the bashing sessions that you pull off.
Yes.
I can see it in your eyes, Stephen. You've fought on the fields of glory in years past, in the ancestral times. You've had your hands in the mud that human bodies create when they've been completely pulled and wrecked.
It's the only way I can wake up in the morning is by crawling through a veritable mass of humanity.
It was a terrible war to fight, but the real problem was all the defensive pacts that the great powers had with each other.
And we can't forget the one thing, and the reason that you are doing this, Stephen Kick, is to keep the name Blade Force out of your mind.
I'll never think of it again.
All right. Blade Force is a no. Blood to the Chosen is practically assured, and I don't mean acting on that extra ed at the end of assured.
Yeah, my boss will most certainly fire me.
All right. Next up, we've got Neuro Hunter, Stephen Kick. Neuro Hunter, the famous bridge between System Shock and BioShock.
Oh, is it?
Right, cousin. Thank you for the gifting 5 tiers to the community. But right now, let's cool it because we're getting to the bottom of Neuro Hunter.
Cool, rat cousin. I got a thing for rats. Didn't I tell you last time that I'm just a collection of rats?
The Rat King, yes. But
That's right.
but it's confusing,
Good
Stephen
memory.
Kick, because we also have not only have we pulled the image of you as this writhing mass of varmints.
Mm-hmm.
Get
We've
out
had
of
to pull-
there.
We've had to punt that from our minds and picture you sleeping in a pool of sweat and teeth and broken dripping tears as people with the words Blade Force have them torn Blade Force from their mouths.
It pleases me to do that.
But what we really need to know is the answer. Neuro Hunter.
No.
No, it's a no for Neuro Hunter. No for the plucky team that brought us Neuro Hunter. Allan Resnick. People must be feeling pretty raw right now if they have Neuro Hunter deep within the recesses of their memory.
Of their neuro.
If they've hunted the neuro.
So it can be good. This Alzheimer's it can be terrible.
Magic Carpet, Stephen Kick. Yes or no?
No, but wasn't a Prince of Persia game just released? That's basically the same thing.
Fair enough. You heard it here first. The Prince of Persia game that was just released, the 2D side-scrolling game, is the same game as the Peter Molyneux Lionhead Studios flying shooter?
That was a bullfrog game, but okay.
Oh, it was a bullfrog game. What did I say?
Lionhead?
Lionhead.
I would love to talk about bullfrog.
Let's talk
But
about
we're not here for
bullfrog.
that.
What are your thoughts on bullfrog these days?
We need a real dungeon keeper. That's what we need.
So
Another
you're
game where people can mine things. Demons, preferably.
these Orcs Must Die wasn't enough for you. These kinds of hero trap games. What's the one that I'm thinking of, Alan? The PlayStation series, like the Tecmo's Deception.
Deception.
Orcs Must Die was pretty great, but it wasn't Dungeon Keeper. Not quite.
Well, you've got the flip. They flipped the script for Dungeon Keeper, and then they flipped it back for Orcs Must Die.
Well, you know what Orcs Must Die lacked, which was rife in Dungeon Keeper 2, and even the first Dungeon Keeper, was the mistresses. You had to build a torture chamber so that, the sub-demons could get whipped and be motivated to work harder. Not present in Orcs Must Die, I'm sorry to report.
Elder Scrolls Redguard, yes or no?
Cool game, but no.
No, and it was simply because of the licensing issues, I would imagine, with all these corporate gray shirts in their ivory, and they're not ivory towers, are they anymore, Stephen Kick? No, they've gone gray with the decay that comes with lack of ambition, lack of human ambition. Instead, it's a cliffside.
Whoa.
I remember Redguard was in the bargain bin for at least several years before I bought it out of pity.
All right, that's a no for Elder Scrolls or Redguard, Alan. What are people saying right now about Elder Scrolls? Are they feeling the pinch? Are they feeling disappointed that we haven't been able to pry these great gems of the past from Stephen Kick's mighty hands?
There are all these birds behind me.
Stephen Kick, we're gonna take a brief tangent, I suppose. What's it called when a path goes a different way?
A tangent.
So we're going to take a brief tangent from the PC world. We're going to go right to the PlayStation era. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
Disruptors. Disruptor, Stephen Kick, yes or no?
Ooh. A lot of requests for that one. I want to do it. Is that an answer? Yes?
Alan?
I used to have a game on my phone.
Thank you, Alan. Codename Tenka.
No.
No on Codename Tenka. Yes for Disruptor. No for Tenka.
No for Tenka.
No for Tenka. Alan, you must be feeling pretty raw right now.
With the birds and all, yeah. I had the game was on my phone. You could play a yellow car, but the other ones, they cost money, and that I didn't have it on.
The entire Colony Wars series.
Wow, you're digging deep. I bought that one out of the bargain bin too, just out of pity for it.
Pity. Pity for Colony Wars. The space soap opera with fantastic flying physics. Colony Wars wasn't good enough for Stephen Kick. Bargain bin only.
I could only afford bargain bin games and demo discs pulled out of the bottom of dumpsters.
Battle Hunter, Cody Fancy Pants wants to know. Battle Hunter, Stephen Kick, yes or no?
Nope.
That's a no for Battle Hunter. Critical Depth, Stephen Kick. The underwater vehicular combat game from some of the minds behind the original 2 Twisted Metals.
David Jaffe?
No, David Jaffe stayed with Sony. I believe this was a brand new company forged from some sort of unseen rift in the company. Chat, let's play. Chat's also. We're now opening this up, yes or no, to the chat right now. So if anybody has a yes or no question for Stephen Kick, then we're gonna blast it at him, much like the blast radius that was the unofficial Colony Wars 4.
Okay. Chat.
Alien Trilogy, Stephen Kick.
Ooh. I mean, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's breaking news. Alien Trilogy is a yes from Stephen Kick Night Dive Studios. They know where the source code is. They're going to find it for us, and they're going to re-release that sucker for us. All 3 Alien games presented as one single corridor shooter. Allan Resnick.
Did any of those the games on Twitter where you're shooting a ball of zombies and it's multiplies, but you by 4 and then you lose every time? Are any of those real?
Nathan Vegetable wants to know about Robo Pit for the Sega Saturn. Stephen Kick.
I was just thinking about that, Alan. I was seeing those ads play just recently, and I was just wishing that it were true. But in my heart, I know it's a cold lie.
It used to be you'd see it's the woman stinks and you have to get her ready for the date, but then now it's all the ball of guys.
Mm-hmm. RoboPit, no. Nathan Vegetable, no.
Terminal Velocity, Stephen Kick.
Can't do it.
Why not? What's Apogee got against you, Stephen Kick? You've done so much good. You got so much good for the industry.
I mean, maybe we did Rise of the Triad. Actually, you know what? Let's change that to a hard yes.
Yes, a hard yes for and of course we all know that someone else did Terminal Velocity and re-released it recently, but Night Dive's taking it from them, and they're kicking it into the curb stomping the competition in the pursuit of releasing the definitive Terminal Velocity.
Stephen kicking them to the curb.
What was Terminal Velocity developed by Variant Software?
The only 2 names that come to mind are 3D Realms and Apogee.
Who did what? There was a company called Variant that did a game that was very similar to that, and the only reason I know that is because Variant became Sony Online Entertainment, which I worked for a number of years, and they had the ad up on the wall, and I could have sworn it was Terminal Velocity. Am I high?
Was it maybe perhaps something Total Eclipse, Solar Eclipse?
It could very well have been just a trick of the light.
it's legal anymore.
We'll get to that later, Alan. But we do because but wait, we do have a couple more. Dragon Force, obviously that's a no. That's not the kind of game they refuse to get these kinds of games.
Dark Corners of the Earth, Rattleman, yes.
Yes, for Call of Cthulhu Dark Corners of the Earth. Cody Fancy Pants wants to know about Mach and X.
Nope.
No. Did Microsoft release Terminal Velocity? I don't believe that Microsoft released Terminal Velocity.
That was Fury 3.
What's that?
Fury 3, that was Microsoft. It's very similar. It's like that era where, hey, we got 3D, we can make triangles that shoot lasers.
Catherine Thunderglass wants to know about Robot Alchemical Drive. I also want to know about Robot Alchemical Drive.
Is that a real game?
That's a real game for the PlayStation 2. It's a big robot game.
Are you sure?
Elemental Gimmick Gear for the Sega Dreamcast. Fighting Force.
I think people are just making things up now, and if not,
I promised Stephen Kick. Let me tell you something about the audience here. These people don't make up a goddamn thing. And if you accuse people of pulling things out of their keisters, then I'm going to tell you that you and I have got some sort of. I'm getting in the ring, Stephen Kick. I'm getting in the cage with you, and I've got Blade Force on the mind.
Uh-oh.
I like Power Stone just got mentioned. You know, I was going through some games earlier and I found a copy of Power Stone, and for some reason the jewel case had fused shut and I couldn't open it, and that disc is forever entombed in there.
All right.
So
Stephen Kick, I've got a couple more for you. Project Eden for the PlayStation 2. The 4-player co-op, but 4 players. Switch. What do you call that? When a tag team.
Sounds like fun. Can we play that together?
Stephen King, we all know that someone's got it. Where are the Heretic and Hexen games?
I don't know.
Stephen King,
It's not here.
don't. This
I have
is
no idea.
This is the last one I'm gonna pull out. Oh, Metal Arms. Glitch in the system.
My arms are both fleshy and bruised.
Freedom Fighters from Eidos.
Oh, yes, I would love to do Freedom Force. Ken Levine, Rob Waters. I don't think that was.
Wait,
Was that? Well, it was
no, not
Irrational.
Freedom Force. Freedom Fighters. We all know about the Ken Levine's little superhero project there. No, we're talking about Freedom Fighters.
Well,
That was
see, I was trying to segue back into comic books there. Did you catch me?
not an EGI 2. Stephen Kick.
It's not a metal arm, but my dad, when he was younger, had one of the Forrest Gump. He had the cast, and he fell into a quarry.
Stephen Kick. Congo, the Lost City of Zinj.
That can't be real. Is that
Are-
about the monkeys?
I'm talking about Congo, the Lost City of Zinj, the first-person shooter game for the Sega Saturn and the Sega Saturn only.
Based on the movie?
Based on the movie.
Really?
I promise you I would never lie about something Congo related.
Ooh. You know, that would be something I'd like to enjoy with you sometime, that movie.
Name the time and the place, preferably somewhere near an Amtrak station.
Okay, I'll see what I can do.
Alan, what are people saying about the Congo situation that's just erupted between Stephen and I?
Like in real life with the country?
Yes.
I can't read that far. Or there's all this crap in front of my face.
Back to PS1 game, Male CTY wants to know about Terracon.
You guys are asking me about PlayStation games. I never had one.
Well, we have to, and let's be kind to Stephen Kick here, because let's try to focus on first and third person shooters, unless there's some sort of weird deviation like Terminal Velocity
Or Fury 3.
or Fury 3. Alan?
The unnamed game from Variant Software.
You ever play any of the Nancy Drew video games?
People want to know, and Desiga. Cody Fancy Pants wants to know about Desiga. I think they're talking about Destriga, which is not the kind of game that I think Night Dive Studios is willing to put their tips into.
You mean Disgaea? Is that
Oh,
what you're trying to
Disgaea.
tell?
I would either of those. I think that we're probably a little bit not above the pay grade, but perhaps on a different. I'm saying if you're a plumber, not an electrician, Stephen Kick.
So, Robbie, you mentioned Nancy Drew. I didn't play those, but I do have really fond memories. My cousin, when we were growing up, she was very big into the American Girls.
Yeah.
And so there was an American Girl video game.
Oh.
But it's not really a game. It's basically like virtual paper dolls where you can set up the characters and like animate them and script them very easily, and you can record the voices.
Huh.
And my dad used to do these elaborate plays where the poor American girls, you know, they're frontier women. They would eventually run out of food and have to resort to cannibalism.
No.
And it was a great time. Very fun.
Oh man.
What the hell is he talking about?
I hope it didn't happen. I know it did sometimes.
It's probably official canon in one of their stories, but you know, we just made it up because it was enjoyable.
The Donner
Nathan
Party.
Vegetable Stephen Kick wants to know about Three Dirty Dwarves, and I gotta say that I wanna say that we gotta funnel this a little bit, Stephen Kick, because you have mostly in your career have been focusing on first-person shooters, some third-person stuff, and perhaps some like a sort of pseudo Western RPGs. Would I be correct on that?
Maybe without the pseudo Western RPG part, but yeah, mostly.
Well, what am I thinking of when I'm thinking of pseudo Western RPG? I'm thinking of wait, you didn't do Anachronics, did you?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Oregon Trail, maybe.
Great game though. Wasn't that was that Tom Hall from id Software that did that? I don't
No
remember.
way. Tom?
Is he there with you? Can you ask him?
Three Dirty Dwarves is of course a multiplayer. It's a tap them out. What kind of game are we talking about there, Stephen Kick, with the multiple characters and you tap one out at one after the other? Tag team?
I remember it's that was developed by Blizzard, wasn't it? An early Blizzard SNES.
No, that was Lost. You're thinking of Lost Vikings.
Oh my God, you're right. Ugh.
Creatures, the Albion years, maybe nightmare creatures. Nightmare creatures have been popping up a lot lately. Have you noticed that, Stephen Kick?
Yeah, very cool game. There's 2 games in the series. I got in touch with the guy who owned Callisto Entertainment. He had another gem that was hardly played by anyone called Dark Earth. Do you know that game?
No.
I tried to get the rights to that. And apparently back in the 90s, the film rights were just sold to some random person and they had no record of who it was or where they went. And so we couldn't get the rights to the game because they were afraid that somebody would come out of the woodwork and sue them if we tried to re-release the game. But
Dark Earth? What's the...
Nope,
what?
pretty sure it wasn't that. But Dark Earth was really cool. The story revolved around a post-apocalyptic wasteland where humanity had kind of gone back to a pre-industrial civilization.
Right.
And the sun had been blotted out of the sky.
Like today.
And they made this big deal about how birds were very sacred creatures, right? And to this day, my dad and I both die laughing whenever we cook a chicken or a turkey. Because in the game, the main player, he finds a roasted bird and he just devours it, and it's supposed to be the sacred thing. Very immersion breaking, if you will. So
A tofu
Darker.
boyfriend.
that's a yes if I can find out
Stephen
who they
Kick,
sold
are
the
you
rights
having
to.
me on? This chicken eating thing seems a little far-fetched.
Yeah, it is a little far-fetched, but the actual line is, he walks up and he notices the bird and he goes, "Ooh, roast bird. Very tempting." That's it. That's our whole bit.
Shadow
So
Man's
far-
second coming, Stephen Kick, yes or no?
Pass.
That's a pass. Not even a look of possibility. You're absolutely against the idea of bringing back Shadow Man's second coming.
Not against it. I just don't want to talk about it.
Well, that's tough to hear, Alan.
I can barely hear anything with the fires.
What about Akuji, the Heartless?
Nope.
Any of the Legacy of Kain Gex engine games?
Oh, was Legacy of Kain on the Gex engine?
They Akuji Gex and Gex, yes.
I did not know that.
I'm pretty sure. I could. Now that I'm saying it out loud, I know that Akuji is. I'm not 100% sure about Legacy of Kain, but I know that Akuji is.
The first game that I played on a CRT television that I just recently bought was Blood Omen.
Blood Omen is the first game I bought on a PlayStation Portable because they had the PS1 Classic store, and I didn't feel I don't like those. I did never like those goddamn UMDs.
I didn't realize it had ever been re-released in any way. That's pretty cool.
It's I think you can buy it right now on the PSN store.
I highly doubt that.
It's gonna.
Can someone from chat verify? Is it still using the Gex engine?
No, not the Gex engine. God damn it! We're talking about if Blood Omen: Legacy of Kain is still available on the PlayStation Network store, and I believe that. I'm gonna put up. If I had any green, I'd put it up for it because I believe in my soul that it's still there.
Are you talking about the first game?
That's what you said. You said Blood Omen.
Yeah, it's called Blood Omen.
Yeah, Blood Omen. The first. It's Blood Omen, Legacy of Kain, then Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver, then Blood Omen 2, then Legacy of Kain 2, and then the third, and then the final chapter that we all know that we at least all that we got is Legacy of Kain Defiance.
I think you've. Yeah, that's correct. The chronology works out. But I don't believe it was ever released on PlayStation Portable.
I'm saying that PlayStation Portable allowed you to play our old PlayStation games. I promise you.
No.
I'm promising.
I'm gonna check the chat.
I swear to beans that it's true.
You know, I saw on YouTube. I saw someone do a speed run of Zoombini's Logical Journey.
Wait, Zoombini's was on Atari Jaguar, wasn't it?
I played it at school.
Okay.
Any of these Atari Jaguar fighting games ever appeal to you? Obviously, we're thinking of Kasumi Ninja, Ultra Vortec.
No. But you know what happened is I went to GDC, the Game Developers Conference, this past March, and I visited my friends up at Digital Eclipse, and they forced me to play Atari Jaguar.
Now, are they the ones that did that?
No, I don't think so. They just forced me to play the games. They just said, here are the worst Atari Jaguar games ever made. You have to play them all. And then you have to pick out the worst
And then they
one.
blotted out the sun earlier today.
Like today.
Oh, that's right.
Napoleon Bonaparte wants to know about Die by the Sword, and so do I.
That's also another good game.
And?
I would love to do that one. That one had some really wild controls.
Alan?
I think it could do good in VR.
It's sort of a proto. We're talking about like a proto Kingdom Come.
Yeah, I think you're right. How do you know this much? I'm a little frightened.
Well, I'm a child of divorce, Stephen Kick, and so I have spent a lot of time alone having conversations with myself and with and using magazines, old video game magazines, as a way to create voices for other people.
And we help each other out. We shared, or we were always talking back and forth about this stuff.
Oh.
All right, Stephen Kick. I think that we have come to the end of our interview. Is there anything that you would like to? Is there anything that you would like to say about any upcoming stuff that you have? Any exciting news? Is there any news that you want to break for us here tonight?
I'm excited for everybody to play PO'd.
I'm excited for everybody to play PO'd too, and I hope it gets them hyped for Killing Time.
If it sells 1 million copies, I will remaster any game you want.
Any game?
Any game, you name it.
It's gonna be Congo: The Lost City of Zinj, Stephen Kick.
That's probably a poor choice, but my word is unbreakable.
And I'll meet you in the cage with Blade Force on the lips until you whack them off of my own lips for me.
Okay, you got it.
Thank you for your time, Stephen Kick. It's always wonderful to talk to you. Thank you for promoting Dance Freak the Movie T-shirt. You look great in it. A large fits you like a glove. I could see the rippling muscles, and I will say this about you, Stephen Kick. There's few people in the world that I look up to. There's my dad, there's Winston Churchill, and you. So congratulations for finding yourself in that trio of. Oh, and Harry Truman.
It's fine company. Fine company.
And actually, just kick out Churchill for Truman. And you know what? No, I'll stick with Truman.
It's a decent choice.
Thank you, Stephen Kick, and Godspeed to you as you crack your knuckles and pull the toes go into the dirt. You pull at the roots. You find the roots. You stick your mouth on them. You suck out the poison. You spit the poison to the side, and you find the sweet tree meats inside and pull them out for all of us to enjoy, despite the fact them being buried so deep in the earth.
Anytime, I'm happy to do it.
Good night, Stephen Kick, and God bless the troops.
Hi, Stephen. I liked your room.
Well, how about that?
If you want. I'm just here all the time. It's cool. Just
all right, Stephen. Thanks. Good night. Let's take a quick break, and then we'll come back. We've got more to talk about. We are back, and thank you again to Stephen Kick for stopping by and being such a wonderful guest and being so open and truthful with us. We find Allan that we have Stephen Kick on the show. We find no lies in the man. He is a decent person. He is doing some wonderful things. He's releasing some great games, and I believe he is still in the chat as we speak right now. So if there was a question that you couldn't get out in the chat while we were having our conversation with Stephen Kick on the stream, then perhaps he'll be able to answer your questions in the chat. We do have a phone call coming in right now, so let's go ahead and take that, see what people are saying about the Stephen Kick interview, if people are encouraged, or if people found that his answers were, while truthful, they were elusive.
Hello?
Caller, you're on the air.
Yeah, I just want to say that Steven, I wish he could have been on right now. Did you kick Steven off?
We didn't didn't kick him off, and the software that we use to do the interviews doesn't allow us. He would not be able to hear the calls.
All right.
Oh, gotcha.
It's hard even for me because I'm outside.
Caller, what's your question? And I'll do my best to answer as a faithful acolyte of Stephen Kick's and his journey and his work.
Okay, hi Robbie, it's Cody from Florida.
Cody from Florida, wonderful to hear your voice. The Bad Boys from Florida, Bad Boys 2, the movie, the soundtrack.
Exactly, the boys are back in town.
What's going on with you, Cody?
Not much. So, I'm Cody from Florida. I'm not a big fan of water, as you know. I like it dry. I don't like the water. Okay?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking that. So you know how Dune is back in the spotlight again, right?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So how about a little Dune 2000 remake? You remember the Command and Conquer style Dune game, Dune 2000?
Of course, yeah. We've talked about Dune 2000, Dune 2, but the fact of the matter is that I don't believe that that's Night Dive's bad. Most of their remasters are either Turok games or.
Why the heck not Dune 2000 though?
Well, you gotta ask. You gotta ask this in the chat, and I would have been able to. He's gonna be back, and we're gonna try to figure out how to get the calls to work connect the callers to the Stephen Kick.
They used to have it. Used to be people's jobs. There's a bunch of them in a room, and they'd connect the call from
There's
one.
probably some software that we could pay for, Cody from Florida, but unfortunately we just don't have. We have a knock at the door. Allan Resnick. Take a break for a second. Cody from Florida. Keep that thought going. We do have our special guest. David Brown is here tonight. David Brown, find yourself a seat here in the EGI2 studio.
Robbie, I got in.
Stephen Kick has left the building. We now have David Brown here on set.
Who the heck is that?
And David Brown, have yourself a seat here, and we'll talk a little bit about your life's work.
What's going on?
We've got some of the most impressive people in the planet that come into the EGI2 EGI2 headquarters.
What in blazes is going on?
Did I get in?
One of them.
That is Robbie. What do you do? Is this? Can you help me?
My eyes are going cross. I'm getting cross eyes right
Who's
now.
who's talking?
We're all going cross-eyed because Stephen Kick did.
Is that Stephen Kick?
Stephen Kick.
Did I miss it?
David Brown, Stephen Kick, Allan Resnick. What's happening, Cody from Florida? What am I missing here?
I think I'm seeing Allan, but
I'm here. Who are Stephen?
I don't know what I'm seeing.
Stephen, where do I look?
David Brown,
I'll look at the light.
Welcome back to the show. We're obviously it's been too long since we've seen you, and you're looking healthy. You're looking stronger than ever.
What is
and
this?
The career
is
that
that
you have
you?
made for yourself
No, wait.
in the intervening years has, of course,
It
has been instructive and inspiring to us all.
Robbie, where do I go?
Here in our community.
What was that?
Allan,
I'm nauseous. I'm nauseous right now. I'm not sure what's happening.
Allan?
I hear you.
And Allan, while David is getting situated, we've got to talk about Killing Time a little bit, because I think
the movie
was
Killing.
Such an interesting thing.
What,
that
wait,
he was
what's
willing to talk so openly about Killing Time.
Can you just help me find my area?
Is this man? Who is this handicapped man?
What is this?
Cody, what's the good news from Florida? What have you been
Robbie,
playing?
who are you
what
talking
have you been
to?
thinking about? I'm talking to Cody from
Well,
Florida, David.
Robbie,
Where's Stephen?
The weather's been a little bit cooler than you'd think it would be down here right now, actually.
A brief respite from the terrible tropical heat as the mangroves, the spiny mangroves envelop us all, dragging us down into the muck and mire, pulling apart our bodies, only to be feasted upon by the various bird systems that exist in the forgotten reaches of the jungly Everglades.
I mean, we're in April, and our mornings are starting out at 68 degrees, which is nice.
What,
you know?
Robbie? Who is talking and why? Where? What is he talking about? And
Cody
where do
from
I say?
Florida.
Where's my microphone?
My electricity bill has been nigh on $150, which has been nice.
Oh.
Who's that?
And yet they still haven't. And yet Cody from Florida, they still haven't released Alan Wake 2 on Steam. What's up with that?
Is it only PS5 exclusive so far?
It's only on the Epic Games Store.
Robbie, are you doing EGI?
That's crazy. It's not on Steam yet? Really? That's wild.
Is that? Who is that?
Remedy Games is like, they almost have their own Remedy Games-averse, am I wrong?
Remedy Games-averse, yes. Control, Quantum Break, and of course the Alan Wake games.
Oh
Alan
my
Wake,
God! What?
American
Oh,
Nightmare and
no.
Alan Wake
Where's my
2.
hat? Robbie, I can't do the. I can't do the bit. I don't have my hat.
David Brown, welcome to the show. It's
yeah,
David, he's here?
I'm so happy to have you here.
Thank you guys for having me.
You've been such such a patient guest as we've gotten the tech situation situated.
Did you start?
And I'm so sorry you weren't able to be part of the conversation before, but you are now, and we're very happy to have
I'm
you.
happy to be here. Who were you talking to before?
Stephen Kick of Night Dive, CEO of Night Dive Studios.
Oh, I don't know so much about video games.
Max
So.
Payne, I guess Max Payne is a story that Alan Wake is writing. Alan
Where's
Wake
my
is
hat?
writing the story of Max Payne.
Do we
and his
consider that part of the
universe.
Remedy-verse? I don't know. It doesn't quite seem
Bunch
metaphysical.
of batteries
enough
in
to
the
me.
Well,
chair.
it's alluded to. It's alluded to that he's writing Max Payne, but it's alluded to that he's writing Max Payne's story inside his own universe.
Do they talk about this in the Alan Wake 2?
What?
It's, you know, he doesn't have the rock star rights, but he's like writing a story about a man that's, yeah, very. Is our guest all right?
Well, I wish I had known that because I would have liked to find that out by playing through the campaign.
I'm okay, Cody. Thank you for asking.
Who am I-
David
who-
Brown
what?
is my name.
Oh, that's David. Hi, David.
Hi, Alan. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, good.
Did
Yeah.
you start?
Yeah, Alan, what are people saying? I mean, obviously you've been
I
very
can hear you.
clearly checking in on the chat and making sure that people are staying on topic when it comes to these Night Dive style remasters and remakes using Gex Engine.
What is?
And,
Oh, you're talking. Are you talking about Stephen
various
Kex?
other platforms.
Yeah. What is? What was the question? Was it?
And what I would like to know is that what are people saying now about David's appearance, but also Stephen's sort of indication that he would be willing to not only remaster Killing Time, but also Congo: The Lost City of Zinj.
Oh yes. Mossy Lump says that was great, and Vertical Mammal says the 3 subs through the gifted 3 subs to the tier 1 chat. Who's that other guy?
Hold on. Alan's eyes aren't fused together. He can read chat.
I can
Everybody,
read. I can read the chat. Yeah.
I want to just go ahead and make a quick shout out to, of course, we made the joke earlier about Digital Eclipse being responsible for all of the news today. But obviously
Nathan
that we were
Vegetable
referring
says,
to
ha ha ha.
what we were referring
Oh,
to
3 train emojis.
solar eclipse. And when I say solar eclipse, I do mean solar eclipse for the Sega Saturn. So let's take a deep breath, travel back to the year solar eclipse was released on the Sega Saturn with this following video.
And video.
I can see it. Oh wow, this is cool.
Yeah, I was almost roadkill. Hey, you missed a party, Pitbull.
I can live without your kind of party. Take course back for the Tomlinson.
Major, it wasn't my
Where's your team?
wasn't my fault.
Wrong answer. I told you to
Hey,
recon, then you ignored my
friends.
order to disengage.
Space friends,
We were cut
let's
off.
get
It was a trap. They must
We
have
can
used
get 'em,
Iris
bro.
to
We
tap
can't
our
get 'em. Yeah, we-
communications network. I couldn't call it.
Sure.
Where's this
heck we
Iris
can get 'em.
anyway?
Max
I don't
says
know
it's
if
the
we can
computer
get 'em.
network that runs all the
It's
comm
too hard.
facilities. The
I
damn
don't
thing
know
is everywhere.
We have the skills to get all of them.
Robbie, are
Thanks.
you
Are
doing
we
the
up
voice?
into the Connie network, Iris?
Yes, sir. That's SOP.
We can go.
Disconnect
We sure
now.
can go.
Yes,
Is this
sir.
a movie?
This better not be a smokescreen, Tom, I swear.
Major,
Can't get
Iris
nothing.
just activated the emergency auto-destruct sequence.
Everybody off the deck!
Oh, I guess we can't. No, we sure can't.
Sort of.
Primary J seals check. Over to check.
don't think you're
We're off the deck. Cue Bravo wing. How long till she blows?
16 minutes if we can't stop it.
If the Thomason blows, it won't matter who made it off that deck. We're as good as dead without that carrier.
Where's Hopscotch? Damn! The ship was down for repairs. I'm going back.
Negative. I'll signal Bravo wing and they'll...
Bravo is below deck.
Robbie?
I'm going in.
Hold position, Peterson. That's an order.
What are you talking
Damn
about?
it, Pitbull.
Major, I was wrong about those 16 minutes.
How long?
Well, right about now.
No!
What's that?
Peterson.
We're dead.
I think we got him.
We're alive.
Might as well open the canopy
Darn
right now and get
tooth.
it over.
Man's got a point, Major. It's a long swim back to shore from here.
Quiet. Keep your heads, people. As long as you're breathing, you're still pilot.
Dead pilots.
What's
That's
that?
enough.
Is
I'm a
there
Let's clear
bird.
this area.
some sort of alarm?
Vegas, take lead on red team. Go to Dione and take out the colony's
After all,
telecommunications complex. Blue team,
I don't think
destroy all the weapon depots
everything.
on Rio. See what they can
The
do without
pressure's
eyes
too
and
much.
teeth.
The pressure's
Hey,
the pressure's
who the
too
hell
much.
are they?
I'm.
Find out, you'll be the first to know.
I-
All right, people, let's move.
I can't deal with pressure anymore. We all gotta go. We all just gotta leave. We all just gotta leave this sector.
Hmm.
All right, thank you for your call, Cody from Florida.
That was a
an
call- that was a call.
illuminating
Thanks, that was a
commentary
fun
on-
game.
on the
I'm gonna
solar
look
eclipse,
into that. I'm gonna
news-making
check out
solar
that
eclipse
game.
that we all experienced today. But we do have. Let's
Thank you
take
for
a
your-
break
thank
from
you
the-
for
let's
your
take
call.
A break from the phone calls because we do have David Brown with us, and I wanted to thank you so much for coming in, David.
You're
Brown.
welcome. Oh wait.
You obviously been such a have had such a wonderful career in the last couple of years. You've been doing so many interesting things. What is it that keeps you humble?
Was that a real story before?
Which one?
Did their home exploded?
Well, I didn't really get to the story because of the fact that we had Stephen Kickin with us. So
We did?
We didn't get enough to talk about why people at the factory weren't having enough children.
Is Steven still here?
No, Stephen had to leave Allan. He does have a family.
Oh,
he
shoot.
also has to scrounge around in the dirt looking for fantastic first-person shooters and third-person shooters and games that use the Gex engine.
Where's David?
David is in the studio with us. It's David Brown, famously David Brown of such wonderful viral, I would say. Can a show be viral, David Brown?
Some of these viruses sure can. Unfortunately, lost a few good years.
Everybody obviously lost a few good years, but we came back. We're here now. We've ratted together what we can, and we have our hearts intact.
Yeah, I'm doing good on that front. It's hard. I don't know. Yeah, it's hard to stay humble. It's I get because I feel really good. Like that I feel really like proud of what I have sort of accomplished in a sort of a sick sort of way, and I get really upset.
But there you are. You rent the tux, or do you buy your own at this point in your career, David?
You play your cards right, they'll give it to you.
You talking to me?
David Brown, I thought we brought you here to talk about obviously what's going on with you. Is there anything you are excited to talk about? Anything that you're working on right now that's getting your bones it's making your bones hot?
I had a dream that I saw someone drowning, and then
Oh
I
my
woke
God.
up and I was really glad that it wasn't real. So that was as a baseline. Anything beyond that, I'm pretty happy about.
I had a dream the other day. It's just a stressful kind of a dream, mostly involving credit card fraud.
Oh, pro or con?
Pro. See, and that's why David Brown gets the parts, is because he's quick on the draw, and he does it. You're quick on the draw, and you're deadly with it.
Oh yeah, some of these soldiers in the a lot of video games take place with guns.
Who's that?
Allan, what are people saying about David Brown? Are they excited that we have this young, exciting, energetic celebrity here in the EGI2 studio with us? Or do they wish that we would have just get rid of him and bring back more Stephen Kick?
CGI2 Watcher says, I love David Brown, and I also have Stephen Kick. They love them both.
Well, we didn't get to David Brown. I want to ask you something because we didn't get a chance to. Someone actually put this in the chat, and I saw it.
Nope.
The Sega CD classic adventure, kind of a sci-fi dungeon crawler, Broken Helix.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't get a chance to talk to Stephen Kick about it, but it's bored into my head, and now I can't quite get it out. The Broken Helix situation. Thoughts?
Hope it's. I wish that it were excited into your head instead. Yeah, DNA. Increasingly, people think it might break down with. Well, radiation does it. That's a lot of the damage, and that's why it's bad, especially with unborn children. You really can't be using nuclear weapons near them at all, or Chernobyl sort of situations. So yeah, because it's the human story told in those two strands. Adenine, guanine, thymine, cytosine.
I wonder if David Brown or Allan, if you want to chime in on this, if we consider the Broken Helix on the Sega CD, was it a precursor to such games as Robonautica on Sega Saturn, also known as Robonautica, also known as, or the Kiliak on the PlayStation 1?
What was the question?
Is that your full name? Is Robonautica?
My full name is Robert Bruce Rackleff Jr.
I just call him Robbie.
Named after Robert the Bruce King of Scots, but unclear
Braveheart.
as to whether or not it is a genetic namesake or simply several people thinking it would be cool to name their child after the King of Scotland, the last King of Scotland.
And you're the king of the show. You're the king
But
of the show, Robbie.
not Idi Amin. The movie, Last King of Scotland.
Hold on, is it Kiliak? Kiliak, the DNA imperative.
Say it again.
Kiliak, the DNA imperative.
You got it.
And Kiliak, the blood.
Cracks me up. Some of this stuff.
Okay, great.
Blood 2.
What happens in it?
Kiliak?
Yeah.
Oh, it's one of these. It's a sort of a survival dungeon crawler set in space where you navigate as a pod, either as a pod robot or as a pod person. Allan,
Okay.
Thoughts?
I love all these kind of games. I love pod-based games where you navigate the landscape as in a pod or on pod, or you are pod. Is that what you're saying? You are pod? It's a pod-based game. It's a fun game, and it's a party game people play with their pals, and I'm just loving it. I'm just
Crazy
loving
Ivan. With a K.
Crazy Ivan with a K.
Where's it go in? Eichvin.
Is that David?
David Eichmann?
That's who's that?
Who?
Well, there's the Eichmann that I don't think that we should talk so much about on the show.
Oh, sure.
Who?
Allan, I wonder if you were one of the great things about this show, David Brown, is of course that we bridge the gap between the entertainment industry, two branches of the entertainment industry. That's comedy, pictures, TV, and of course video games.
It's a visual medium.
It's a visual. They're all visual mediums, and they all share various. They share various elements. Your sound, buttons, people.
You ever have an audio only game?
It's a video game show.
What I want to know, David Brown, is what have you been playing, and what have you been finding, and how you've been spending your extra time playing that game, and why that game, and what the game is.
I'm a perpetual sort of non-finisher of games. It's sort of my cross to bear lately. Play a lot of Fortnite in my downtime, no build mode, because I'm sort of washed in that way. In my youth, I played a lot of The Sims 2.
Double Plus Good Games has a comment. The Sega Saturn had an audio-based game, and I believe that what they're talking about is Enemy Zero.
How's that one go?
It's not entirely audio-based. You do have a visual field that you're looking at, but the enemies that are coming at you are coming at you through a sound environment that you must hear them coming and then attack the area from which they come appropriately.
You You can only hear them coming. You can't see them coming.
Let's go ahead and open up the phone lines. And people are saying what people want to talk to David Brown. I have a feeling because people love this man. They've seen your work. They've seen you. You're the sweetheart.
And then also Civilization, and Disco Elysium. I will start it and then
Are you
not
talking about
finish
video
it.
games? What's that?
Caller, you're on the air. You have a call coming in. EGI2 caller, you're on the air. You have a question for David Brown, or you have any commentary about Stephen Kick's visit?
Well, back to you, Robbie.
We know the voice.
Who is it?
We're happy to hear the voice.
Who is
it?
Is that Joe Botnick?
Back to you, Allan. It is your old pal and friend of the show, Scott from Pittsburgh.
Hi, Scott from Pittsburgh. Scotty, we've got men named Scott from the Pit. Scotty Pitton.
Scotty Pitton. Scott from the Pit. S from the P.
Dizzy.
There's a lot of names. There's a lot of lore, but there is only one me.
Scott, I'm gonna take a pause for you there. Nathan Vegetable has mentioned Robbie. Remember the old game Res on the Dreamcast? I think we've covered Res on the Dreamcast and the PlayStation 2, and we've also covered the Trance Vibrator controller, which of course was obviously used for pleasure.
P in your O.
Well, and back to Nathan. I'm glad that Nathan did get the questions on Res on Dreamcast cleared up because we do want the people to get the information. The I may not stand for it. The I may not stand for anything, but we do want the people to get the information.
Allan,
What's happened? Is this it? Is this the mic?
Scott, what are your thoughts? Where's this going?
Well, back to you, Robbie. I would like to say one thought that I have had for quite a while, and back to you, James.
Back to you.
Quite a while.
And back to you, David.
The remainder of the since the duration of the stream, as I do think that we should offer our friend, and I'm going to reach out on a limb here and go ahead and say that David is a friend, and we should offer him some snacks, maybe say like some delicious nuts, possibly a drink, maybe like a nice mixed nuts. And back to you, Rob. Back to you, Robbie.
Back to you, Scott.
David.
Thank you. I think he loved the nuts.
I really love that bit. It brings me so much joy. And breaking news for you, Robbie. I do have a bit of breaking news. As you know, my girlfriend Erica is not a fan of the show, but she recently inadvertently made some funny video game news, and I thought I would share it because I thought it was pretty good.
So this is funny game news, perhaps funny video game news, and I'll be the judge of that. From not a friend of the show, partnered with Scotty Pitton, friend of the show, from Pittsburgh, 4-3, slam dunk, roll up the Zamboni to the hoop and plug it in and see if it counts.
Play ball.
What are you talking about?
Well, back to you, David. So David, as you may know, there's a new the game. We were watching TV. There's a game must be coming out, or maybe a remaster or something. But it was called Rise of the Ronin. Rise of the Romans. And we saw the advertisement for this game, and I myself, being a member of the EGI2 family, said to myself, Rise of Ronin. Is there anything there that I should learn about for the show? And so I said to myself out loud, Rise of Ronin, and then if you would imagine a slide of maybe say like I think Michael Gove would be a good former Secretary of Education of the UK. Michael Gove would pop up, and he said, and he had this to say about the game. He said
Robby, hey!
the San Francisco troops.
Who's that?
Michael Gove.
Oh, that's funny video game news. Good work, Erica. That was funny video game news.
Good job.
And I will back to you, Ryan. I will relay that message back to her because I thought it was pretty good.
I believe that
funny video.
we are a welcoming community. We are a family show, and if I believe that there's always in the way that many of the people of the past left the people of the people of the Jewish faith left a chair available for
Elijah.
Then we do the same for Erica.
And back to you, and I do appreciate that. And and back to you, Allan, and back to you, Robbie. I would like to say, it is nice to see you all and to talk to you. I know I've been missing. I've been MIA a little. I'm still working hard, Robbie. I'm still pushing through these days and these nights. But
where do you work?
I do want you to know that I love you all. And David, you are now included in that. I will.
Thank you.
I will add you to my friends list.
Thanks, Scotty.
That is growing quite large.
Where do you? Dave wants to know where it is exactly that you do work.
Well, I do a lot there. So one of the things that I do is one, I'm a muralist. Although I have not been doing many murals as of late. What I've been doing a lot of lately is I go into different classrooms and schools, and I teach kids about graffiti and about art and murals. And we're, two of these schools we're currently painting graffiti at their school on the school, which is pretty cool.
I'm gonna urge you to stop doing that right now. Don't encourage children to do graffiti, okay?
Well, back to you, Allan. I don't want you to gush because currently the graffiti that we're doing is actually legal.
Unfortunately, this does bear some explanation, Scotty from Pittsburgh. David, unfortunately, I have to inform you that Allan has been infected with a deep hatred of crime and is oftentimes seen pacing at night out there under the street lamps, sweating profusely as he thinks about, in the way that characters from literature such as Solomon Kane might have found themselves in the deepest reaches of Africa, lost to the wilderness, while he simply beads of sweat dripping down his face and back of his neck while he thinks and hates on the beings, the Antichrist and the Satan. Allan is in fact a secular version of this, who only believes in the simple eradication of all crime on earth.
So Scott, knock it off. Tell the kids to put the paint cans down. And if they're gonna paint a wall, they should paint the wall with a solid flat color.
Well, back to you, Allan. Normally, and I say this with the utmost love and respect because you are my dear friend, and I do love you dearly. But we can't hold these kids back from expressing themselves.
I'm all for expression, but I think they should get a Twitch show. They could do a podcast. Graffiti is a crime, and it is punishable at any age.
They could remaster older video games.
They could remaster
that's
older
right.
video games.
Back to you, David. That's not a bad idea. And back to you. Back to you, Robbie and Allan.
And they could work for Night Dive Studios, or they could do cocaine and work for Digital Eclipse.
And back to you would be surprised at how much I actually push EGI_2 onto these kids. And ask them to become a part of our community because I see potential in some of them in enjoying EGI_2, but only if they will enjoy it.
That's great, Scott. That's great, Scott. Spread the good news. Spread the good news.
Wants to know about Jet Set Radio, Allan, and obviously Jet Set Radio is the skate on blades, ride the rails, jump on the train tracks, and do graffiti kind of game.
Yep.
What people were wanting to know, Allan, is if this kind of it's less of wanton criminality than it is a cry for freedom.
What was the question about this?
What would you do in the situation of the Jet Set Radio universe?
In the Jet Set Radio universe, I would play as a sort of a larger character that would come and strangle the Jet Set Radio crew and take their paint cans and throw the paint cans in the garbage and sort of make sure that they stop skating and grinding on things they're not supposed to grind on. And I think
it's like Homer Simpson.
Sorry?
It's like Homer Simpson.
David, I wanted to get your thoughts about this. The amount of fear that you might be feeling right now, the tension between the audience and Allan's obviously deep hatred of sin.
Crime. Oh. It's neck and neck. I don't know who's gonna win. It's Allan the thin blue line versus the chaos out there.
What we do want to know, David Brown, is in the war between order and disorder, and the war between control and freedom.
We're at home.
Where is when the bats come out and when the nails go through the bats and the nails on the bats go through the skin and hit the bone? When does the crime fighter become the criminal?
Speaking of bats. Ah, Mr. Wayne.
Who's here?
Allan.
To you, Robbie. I'm curious. Back to Allan. What are your thoughts on Mark Ecker's getting up?
It's a bad game, and I don't want to talk about
it. I don't have time to play video games.
Do you have another call
Back to you all, and I love you, and have a
nice to
wonderful
meet you, Cody.
Someone's here?
Back
to you, Dave.
I mean Scotty.
Is that the caller?
Well, it was Scott from Pittsburgh.
No, but it sounded different.
Well, for a second, I believe that we were visited through the style of David Brown by the ghost, by the presence, by the spirit of Bane.
Allan.
Caller, you're on the air with EGR2, David Brown, Allan Resnick, and Bane.
It's such an honor to be on with Bane. I've been a big fan of Bane for many years.
It's Joe from the UK. We all know the voice. We all love to hear the voice. Joe, how are you? It's been a while since we've heard your voice.
And Ithaca is gorgeous.
I've been good. It's been good. I'm sorry I didn't appear at all last week. I was very, very sleepy. I'm still quite sleepy, but not as sleepy as I was previously. And I do want to address the elephant in the room. No one is talking about this. And everyone's been avoiding the subject. Something is clearly up in the studio, something up with someone's physical appearance. And I just wanted to point out that we don't know what David's hoodie says. I can't see what it says under his jacket, so I'd really appreciate some clarification.
Oh, it says Boise.
Oh, Boise.
Boise, okay.
Oh, thank God. I was worried that it said moist.
Well, that would be good. That's a good idea for a merch.
We do try to keep it a family show. Boise is a party town. People that party love Boise. Party in the streets. Party until the fists start flying and the crime starts rising. Boise, Idaho.
We don't want that. The Gush doesn't want that.
Hello.
And just so you know, David Brown, the elemental energy that is within Allan, the crime-hating spirit that drives him to these excesses and has crippled him emotionally, spiritually, intellectually.
Allan's got some Daredevil-esque energy today. I don't know what it is.
Joe, what were your thoughts on the Stephen Kick stop by, fly through, he dropped in, dropped out, but left us with a lot of great golden pieces of effluence.
Absolutely. Stephen's gone now, Allan. Sorry, but he was. I liked his interview. I appreciate the fact that he remastered Dark Forces, which is a big part of my childhood. I love that game, and
Dark Forces because we were talking about PO'd for so long.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but I mean, PO'd is the new the new kid on the block. We should be talking about the new projects, but I just wanted to bring attention to the fact that the Dark Forces remaster was very good, and I appreciated that, and I liked seeing Stephen, and we should get more Stephen.
There's some interesting things, David Brown, with the Dark Forces engine, and I wonder if you found this in your own sort of journeys through the universe of Star Wars first-person shooters.
That's Kyle Katarn, huh?
Well,
Kyle
in the
Katarn.
original Dark Forces, how to put it, the geometries and the architectures don't really, in the engine, the original engine, don't seem to line up quite properly.
I've noticed this. Now, this one I actually have played. I played Dark Forces too, and the Jedi Knight games, and I feel like other ones too.
Me too.
David, I don't know how much this bothers you. I don't know if you're like quite like me in this regard, but Dark Forces Kyle Katarn obviously was retconned by Disney. I don't know if that upsets you, because it upsets me.
It upsets
you know,
me too. I was actually
they
just
retold.
talking to this about. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's fine.
I was talking about this with someone truly like last week, and I said that was such it would be such fertile terrain for some of these shows and movies they're trying to make now. I feel like they're grasping left and right.
Well, Joe Botnick, I'm sure you've heard about the various rumors that they could be revisiting the Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah, I've heard.
So I can only assume that while that fell out of favor from the Abrams-controlled version of the Star Wars universe, that if they do in fact do that while we are still in this, I would say we're on the backslide from the Star Wars Renaissance that we were in a couple of years ago. But it's possible, nay, probable, that they will do some sort of rejigging of the narrative there to fit with the current masters of the universe, so to speak.
That would be great. I know they've put in little teasers of like Knights of the Old Republic 2, like I think some of the villains from that game have been mentioned in the new Disney canon. So it would be interesting to see them kind of fit that in there. And I know it's not Knights of the Old Republic, but I do want to see Kyle Katarn come back in some way, because he's a cool guy. He's got a cool beard.
I was really sad when I thought that Jan Ors died.
Who?
I was really sad when I thought that Disan killed Jan Ors.
Oh, that's too bad.
And there's a lot of meat in that story.
Remakes or movies would be disastrous. I tend to with the advent of something with some new degree of polish, you always risk taking off the old character, the old sheen that made the thing unique and perhaps precious in the first place. Joe Botnick, don't you think?
I do agree. I think Knights of the Old Republic, specifically the second one, was very, very rough and janky. But I think that's part of its charm. And I think if you take that away, you're left with something that's not quite what people want. You know, so sometimes the most interesting things are the things with the biggest problems.
Absolutely. Like Outcast.
Like Outcast, like
No, the third-person open-world action adventure game Outcast.
Oh.
That they just did a sequel to recently, and that I believe had some of its own bugs and issues. Allan, what are people saying about Outcast?
They're saying that they love it.
Catherine Thunderglass, I believe that is Catherine from Philly.
Catherine from Philly.
Burning Rangers is another great example of this, Joe Botnick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not familiar with Burning Rangers.
Burning Rangers for the Sega Saturn by Sonic Team, Yuji Naka at the helm. Firefighter anime, kind of like Firefighter meets Evangelion type of thing going on.
Uh-oh. It's one of the best.
Not Outlast, but Outcast. Although Outlast, I believe the Outlast series is probably a little too tightly. Well, it's not an open world kind of sprawling adventure, is it? It's just kind of go through corridors until the thing jumps out at you kind of thing.
Didn't Yuji Naka get like arrested for insider trading or something?
Yes.
He did?
That's bad. Yeah, that's bad.
Fall from grace, but luckily we have the people behind Thunderhead.
Back when I was playing some of like Civilization and some of these other games, my parents were concerned that I was spending a lot of time inside trading instead of playing sports.
David, what's your favorite lightsaber color?
I liked in Jedi Academy when you could change the code, and I would give myself a black lightsaber.
That's cool.
Ooh.
The answer is green. It's
green. I'm boring. I'm a classic. Right? I'm a classic blue guy, or yellow maybe if I'm feeling sassy.
Blue's
Nuts
cool.
to that.
Oh. Well, blue and yellow together.
I don't think Double Bliss Good Game says Burning Rangers was Sega's AM2 team. I'm gonna go ahead. I want to challenge that. I believe it was Sonic Team behind the Burning Rangers games. Joe Botnick, you're always a little quick on the wikis. Let us know if you find the answer to that, because I'm a little bit perplexed as to how that could be true. Because
Burning
AM2
Rangers.
was, of course, behind the arcades. The A is for arcades.
I'm hearing it's definitely developed by Sonic Team. I'm not seeing much more information than that, I'm afraid.
Some people are really sticking with AM2. Won't that be a kind of a coup d'etat? Alan Resnick, we want to. Well, Joe Botnick, thank you for your call. Let's go ahead and take
nice
one
to
more
meet you.
caller if we can. Nice to
Thank
meet
you very much.
David Brown, Joe Botnick, Alan Resnick, Scotty from Pittsburgh. Stephen,
Back to you all.
we've had quite a night already.
Bane was even here.
Bye bye.
Bye. I don't believe Robbie's lav mics worked. Uh-oh. Certainly on. It's got the little H.
You can share.
I can fix the sound. Here, let me do it.
Take a quick breather while we kind of play around the sound. We do have another caller on the line right now.
Check.
Jaden Core, Rosh.
Check.
Cannon.
Yeah, I'm here. I can wait though.
Who are we talking to?
Hey,
right
sound
now?
off.
Who are you? Where
Sound
are you
off in the
calling
chat
from?
if you
Sound
can
off in the
hear
chat.
me. Check. Is this it? No.
Caller?
I'm here. Yeah.
No, I can hear you.
What's happening? Where are you? And what are your thoughts?
It's Clark from Philly.
Clark from Philly. What's the good news for the city of brotherly love?
Well, there's a twist here. Clark from Philly is originally Clark from Baltimore. I was back visiting some friends. I saw the eclipse in Wyman Park, if you're familiar.
I'm very familiar with the Wyman Park Dell.
The Dell, exactly, yeah.
Oh, you're talking about the Wyman Park Dell.
Yeah, we love the Wyman Park Dell. We love big fans of the Wyman Park Dell on EGI too.
Yeah, and the news is this game Alpha Protocol. Did you cover this already? I'm sorry.
We haven't covered Alpha Protocol. Obviously has been re-released on GOG.com after some years of consternation, figuring out who did what with what bit of paper or bit of licensing. But Black Isle, I can't remember if it's Black Isle or the other business. But they managed to get the game back out on digital storefronts, and they even went as far as to present it on one of those big video screens in Times Square.
Oh yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that, the Times Square part.
Thank you, Male CTY. Obsidian.
What's your name?
So
Obsidian,
it seems like
yeah.
the microphone is working again.
Yeah. Can you hear me? Check.
Yes.
Okay, great. Back to you, Robbie.
Back to you, Alan. Back to you, David, and back to
Oh,
you, Clark.
David's
from
here?
Philly.
It's just Clark.
Oh, I thought it was Scott.
I don't have.
Scott's
where's
from
David?
Pittsburgh.
And you're from? Oh no, I thought you said Scott was from Philly.
David, you're from Boise?
I thought I sure said moist.
Clark, what are your are people out there disappointed that we weren't able to get to the story, that we weren't able to get a good story going today, or people feel like we did the right thing
Robbie,
by barreling straightforward into the Stephen King
Robbie,
interview
you have
and
about
getting those notices from him about games that Night Dive might be digging their fingers into.
Robbie, you have 4 or 5 more minutes to finish the story. So
you don't have
go off.
There's no hype trains right now, Alan.
Yes, I thought I saw one.
It seems to me like I always think it's best to, you have to take the next thing in stride. So, the story didn't go as well as you'd like. Maybe it wasn't that good. Don't worry about it. Next thing.
Next
the
thing,
next thing will be better. The next story will be better.
We do have a new. We do have a new segment for you, Clark, and we do have to.
A new segment?
It's called a new segment.
Where?
I think we might have mentioned it a little bit earlier, but
did?
I wanted to get your thought on it while I could, Clark. It's called Which Enclave main non-player character are you?
Which Enclave?
If we could get that card up right now, that would be fantastic. Clark, are you excited to play Which Enclave main NPC are you? And if you're not familiar with the game Enclave, we do have a bit of a refresher video for you. If we could play that right now, that would be fantastic. Clark, stay on the line.
I'm not familiar, so that would be great.
Is M for mature?
What?
This is M for mature, this game?
This is Enclave on the Xbox.
That's rated M for mature.
It's a third-person action game with with RPG elements, and if it's by Starbreeze Studio, Conspiracy Entertainment, and Vivendi Universal Games.
Gotcha.
Wow, look at that.
It is said that a great wizard
That's really cool.
created the rift,
Robbie, did you make this?
ripping the earth.
Oh no, this is made by Starbreeze Studios.
Dividing light from dark.
Preventing an apocalypse.
This earth holds unimaginable power.
Our enclave is in turmoil,
The rift will keep us safe.
and when it closes,
Oh, look at that. Wait, you did make it, or you didn't?
We have long lost our innocence.
This is by the people that made Chronicles of Riddick.
The rift is the only
Darkness.
thing keeping us apart.
Oh, that's Vin Diesel?
they will
And-
fight for it.
And,
They have already begun.
what was it? Chronicles of Riddick. Chronicles of Riddick. Chronicles of Riddick with Stephen Darkadina and what is it?
What's happening?
That's a good one.
Syndicate from
Assault on Butcher Bay.
Butcher Bay, yeah. Darkadina, Butcher Bay, absolutely. 25 massive levels, hundreds of weapons and magic combinations.
Wow.
Action like you've never seen before, but of course what we are talking.
That's cool. Wow, I love that
Breathtaking
gun.
interactive worlds.
Oh, shit.
Wait, how? Yeah, this is actually getting confusing now. How's this guy gonna? I don't know.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Yeah, okay, this is multiple protagonists?
So this is but we're not Clark from wherever you may be. Clark from
Philly.
We won't be focusing on which of the playable characters you are from Enclave.
Oh,
it is
right.
It is which main non-player character, which main character from the story of Enclave are you? That is not one of the main characters whom we play as.
Sorry, I got kind of lost.
So Clark, are you ready to play?
I'm ready. Let's go.
All right. A little bit of backstory for the plot of Enclave here. The end was near.
Sorry. Say the. say the plot.
The end was near. From all directions, Vatars, dark hordes, closed in on the nearly defeated army of Selenheim. But atop one of the ridges, a lone figure, clad in a wizard's robes, defiantly faced the demon. He lifted the staff high in the air and slammed it hard into the ground, unleashing the wrath of nature itself. And over the single night, the world erupted. The skies grew black, the soil turned crimson with fire, blood, and chaos. So, Clark, are you ready to play? Which Enclave character are you?
Oh, absolutely.
And the character. Let's get the character slides up here for Clark's enjoyment. Which Enclave main NPC are you? Because we want to make sure that you understand you're not one of the playable characters. You're one of the characters from the plot line and story segments whom you don't actually play as.
I understand that this time, and I am sorry about the previous time.
Excellent. All right, so let's go ahead and let's start this fabulous new game. First character option. Head Counselor Mordessa, the evil sorceress who wishes to summon Vatar, and together with him and reign together the world with a ruthless heart and extraordinary magic. She's certainly capable of realizing her goal. Next up,
the text coming.
High Wizard Zale. Now, we couldn't find a picture of High Wizard Zale, but we did find some of the environments from Enclave and decided that he might be up in this tower here.
How is he a main NPC if he's not a main
Because he's one of the... High Wizard Zale, the mighty and mysterious wizard who defeated Vatar, now long assumed long dead. Next up, we have.
He's dead in the game already.
Well, he's long assumed dead. He's not dead yet. Zorana, once an ambitious sorceress and rival for Mordessa for Vatar's affection. Zorana was consumed by evil force. Couldn't find a picture of Zorana, so we just figured that any character like kind of obscured in the background of a screenshot from Enclave could be Zorana. As long as we know that that is not that character, then I guess the door is still open. Next up, we have which Electo, the leader of the ancestors, the people of Mechalon, who resembles a typical Roman emperor. Hard to tell who Electo is. Couldn't find a good picture of him. He might be that character in the background there. We just can't know.
From the trailer.
Next up, we have Queen Aelindel and or Princess Hesindra, good rulers of the Enclavers. Ysindra is a virgin. Mordessa needs her as a sacrifice for Vatar in order to unite her with love. Couldn't find a picture. Couldn't find a picture of them.
No Mordessa.
Is
Is
this a story?
She might be on the either side of that grate there in the thing. And then finally, of course, no surprise of the sort of spectrum of Enclave non-playable characters in the story. You can choose that you are obviously. Which one are you? Vatar.
Wow.
Who we don't have. I think Vatar speaks for themselves.
And just keep giving your bits and bytes.
Read it that fast.
Okay, so Clark, you're
got a hype train going.
It's up to you right now. Which Enclave non-player character are you?
I think I got to go with Zale.
With who?
Zale.
With Vale.
The High Wizard, Vale.
Yeah. Well, look. Here's what I'm going to tell you.
The creator of the Rift.
Can I modify? I'm a little nervous now because I realized that whoever was before Electo, I remember being like, that motherfucker. I think is sorry. Excuse my language. I remember being
Zorana?
like, they're cool,
Zorana.
but
The
and
rival
then
for
Electo
Mordessa?
distracted me. But who was right before Electo? That was I was like right before Electo. Zorana. That's me. Easy.
So Clark from someplace somewhere in the Mid-Atlantic it has most identified with Zorana from our Enclave. David, your thoughts?
Is it the same Zales from the diamond store?
No, that's a South African company. We don't do any advertising. No free advertising for them. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you for your call, Clark. Let's go ahead and open the phone lines to get another caller who caller, who are you in terms of Enclave non-player, but main non-player characters from the storyline? Let's hear it.
Wait, what are the names again?
Hello.
So there's Mordessa, who is. Can we just go back to the beginning of the slides there? Mordessa, the evil sorceress who wishes to summon Vatar and together with him and reign together the world with a ruthless heart and an extraordinary magic. She's certainly capable.
Still coming off on this side.
Next up, we have High Wizard Zale, who is the person who defeated Vatar in the beginning and created the rift in the middle of this, which is why we have the Light and Dark campaign.
Love that.
Then Zorana. Then Electo. And then the two, either the queen or the princess, and then, of course, Vatar himself.
That's cool.
Okay. All right. Well, I can't be Zorana because that was Clark's character.
Don't let that stop me,
Who's Clark?
I gotta say, I'm a little torn between Zale because I do like that he seems to live on some sort of weird mountain. That's pretty cool.
We'll take it with a grain of salt
but
because he might not live there too.
Well, yeah, exactly. We don't know if that's actually where he is. We couldn't find a picture of him, so we just figure, high weird kind of hill tree looking thing could be it.
Sure, why not?
Okay, so it's a possibility, but not for sure.
Yeah, you might live in like one of these. You spend a lot of time in like sewers in the Enclave, so it could be one of those.
All right. Well, that doesn't sound quite as good. I'm gonna go with Vatar. They seem pretty cool.
Vatar, the demon itself. Vatar.
Oh, good choice.
A mighty ancient demon.
Zatar? Is it Vatar?
It's Vatar, not Zatar.
Okay, got it.
Sorry, we got confused
Zale
because
and Vatar.
no, Zorana.
Zorana, excuse me. And
Fact.
Vale, of course, for skiing.
And what is it that draws you so much to? I'm sorry, which one did you choose again?
Vatar.
Vatar.
The demon itself.
It just seems like Vatar is really important. All the other characters are, they're all mentioning Vatar in their little descriptions. And I like to think that.
There's so much text about Vatar.
If you can't, I would say that you can't have Zatar though without Mordessa. Vatar.
That is true, and I did like Mordessa's big hair.
Well,
But
we're not
I
actually
also
sure
like
if that is
Take that
Mordessa.
with a grain of salt too, because that might not be.
Yeah, that could be either. That could
Okay.
be the queen or the princess. I'm not sure who any of these people are. It's really.
That's not. That's the only one that doesn't have a disclaimer, and you don't even know if that's who that is.
There's not a lot of clear evidence. Having played, obviously this game is 22 years old. I have only played it 22 years ago, so I can only say that it's very difficult to find clear information on who these people are without playing through it myself.
That makes sense. And I really like that in the picture for Vatar, it doesn't appear to be pointing at anything at all. That's pretty great.
That's a really good point.
I mean, he could be over there.
He could be, but you don't know, and that's pretty cool.
Well, so it's the openness of the question that attracts you to
Exactly.
Vatar.
You know, everyone's kind of figuring out who they are a little bit, and Vatar.
I'm pretty
seems
sure
like the
Vatar
character
knows
that kind of
exactly who
embodies
he
that.
is.
Vatar.
But we don't know who he is.
Yes, we do.
High Wizard Vale knows who he is. He created the rift to stop him in the first place.
He's probably dead.
But the High Wizard Vale might be dead.
Well,
You can't find out anything. Everyone in this game is dead already, and they're like through walls. What even happens in this game?
Well, there's two different separate campaigns.
You can do the light or the dark campaign, but either way, everyone's already dead by the time you start.
Know thyself, caller. Is what you're trying to tell me.
Wait, I missed what you said. This looks like a really good game. What is this game called again?
It's called Enclave. You can buy it. You can actually buy a remastered version of Enclave on Nintendo eShop and most modern digital storefronts at this very moment.
There's that 519.
Oh, wow.
Oh man.
Well, maybe I'll have to play it and see who I'm most like.
Fruity Spruce in the chat is another we've got another Zale going. Napoleon Bonaparte has just wrote Interstate 82, which is a vehicular combat game sequel to Interstate 76.
Caller, my 2 cents would be you play this game, you might not get a better sense of which of these people.
It doesn't matter exactly. It's like, because you're not playing as those characters. You won't know. Thank you for your call. Who is it again?
Oh, it's Kat from Ithaca.
That's Kat from Ithaca. Wonderful to
Ithaca's
hear your voice.
gorgeous.
Thank you so much for calling. Do you have a question for David?
Robbie, Ithaca is gorgeous.
I would like to know who David thinks his Enclave character would be.
Oh man, I've had so much time to think about it. I'm still drawing a blank. I really wanted to be the big guy from the trailer, but I can't pick him.
Well, that's a playable character, and these are
Is it
ones that you
really?
don't. Well, some of them are. There's several big guys.
It looked like you were fighting him. I guess I would want to be. I'd love to also be Vatar. It's a popular choice, I know, but I'm sort of a sucker for. I'm a follower.
But he's the leader.
Well,
Mordessa is the follower.
Vatar used to be the leader.
What? No,
Well,
that's why
Mordessa's the leader now.
No,
He's
Mordessa's
forced to obey Mordessa now.
For the time being.
I've heard Ithaca's gorgeous, Kat.
That's true. Ithaca is gorgeous. Everyone says it.
Ithaca is gorgeous. It's a party town. Party people love to party in Ithaca, and the streets are filled with the bright lights and the coins.
Ithaca is gorgeous.
Thank you for your call, Kat. Lovely to hear from you.
Thank you, Kat.
I think we've got another call coming through right now. We've got caller. You're on the air with EGI2. Who are you? Where are you calling from? Twitch.tv/EGI_2.
You're on
Enclave character. Main NPC are you?
Who are you?
Hello.
Hello.
Who are you and where are you calling from?
Chappie's, South African.
I am. It's your boy Isaiah again.
Okay.
Isaiah,
here with some I'm here with some EGI interviews.
EGI2 interviews. We got David Brown here with us.
We do?
But we're also wondering, Isaiah, which Enclave main NPC are you? And let's just make 100% clear. We're not talking about any of the magic users or any of the heavies that you actually play as.
Or fight against this big demon.
I think you do
David.
fight Vatar eventually.
Okay, let me tell you. I heard about the guy. I was listening while I was cooking. I heard about the guy who's living in the castle by himself.
That's
the wizard,
Vale.
I assume.
Zale.
You were listening while you were
like
cooking,
him.
so you maybe didn't see these. I think we should run through them again. Is that true? I can barely hear my guy.
There's Mordessa. There's High Wizard Zale. There's Zorana, Electo, Princess and Queen, these two, and then Vatar.
Okay,
Nice.
I think High Wizard Vale.
Another Zale.
Place.
Even though we're not, I picked that picture was picked simply because it says High Wizard on it, and that looks like a high place, but we can't assume that those two things are linked.
That's why you picked it. There's maybe not even a house up there.
Looks like there could be. Like
If you're a High Wizard, you do what you want. You know what I mean?
There's a
You
hiking
covered it
path.
up with text and your arrows. You can't see what's up there.
I can see it.
Well, Estebo73 says a little character select screen would go a long way for this segment. Unfortunately, you don't play as any of the characters, so you can't select them.
Oh man.
EGI interviews, guys. EGI interviews. What's
Well,
your
this is an
favorite
interview
Pokemon
segment. This is
game?
a Q&A with the audience as to which but you're saying you're sticking with Zale?
I am sticking with Zale. I'm in the High Wizard place. I'm playing Pokemon. I got cats. That's what we're doing.
If you were doing Pokemon Go, what sort of Pokemon do you think you could catch up there?
Zale.
Probably an Aerodactyl. If I'm thinking about it, I know Aerodactyl is a fossil Pokemon. I don't think you see it often. But if I'm thinking High Wizards, I'm thinking Mythical. I'm thinking Dragons. I'm thinking giant flying guy.
And from the looks of this physical feature in the game, do you think that there's a house up there?
Again, it's a High Wizard. He makes do. He does what he has to do. He can be like, hey, is there a house? No, but there really is a house. Either he just live in a rock. You know, High Wizards, they suffer. They do the work.
All right. High Wizard, another vote for High Wizard Zale. Isaiah, do you have a question for David?
David, what's your favorite Pokemon? Yeah.
I never really played very much, but I really like the look of
Dragonite.
No, I don't know what that one looks like. What if it's ugly and Allan's tricking me?
Hell yeah. It looks like Barney.
Okay, I like Barney growing up. I only had PBS on the TV. I'll go with Dragonite. What about you?
Okay, that's fair. It's still Mimikyu. I got a cat named Mimikyu.
What about Kirby?
A new cat named Sludge. Kirby's great. I had like a week where I really
Why
liked
do they
Kirby.
put Kirby in these Pokemon games?
I think they did.
He'd be too overpowered.
I thought they did.
You got Ditto.
Ditto,
not
Plague
Kirby?
says Skarmory, Napoleon Bonaparte says Evola, and then Joe Botnick just says Kirby Air Ride. So we're all unified, I think, at this moment in time. Thank you for your call, Isaiah. We have time for one more call. One more person answering the question: which Enclave main non-player character are you?
Did I ever tell you my story about Kirby?
Go off.
No.
So I live alone now, but I used to live with a roommate, Kirby, and I was worried.
You lived with Kirby?
He was really nice, but he seemed, lonely, and I was always sort of trying to meet people, and it wasn't quite working out. And then eventually, I was very happy to come home one night to find out that I just, from the telltale sound through the door, I knew that Kirby had brought home, let's just say, I don't like to work blue, but like a companion that I could tell from the
Kirby did?
telltale. Kirby had brought someone home that night, and I could tell from the sound through the door.
So which caller? Who are you? Where are you calling from? And which? Let's switch things up a little bit. Which Enclave character would Kirby be?
Oh, hey, this is Mina, and I'm in Jackson, Mississippi. I think Kirby would probably be the princess.
Wait, we lost you a little bit. And is Mina from Mississippi?
Yeah, Jackson.
Jackson, Mississippi, party town. Everybody loves to go to Jackson party. I had a weird show in Jackson, Mississippi a long time ago. A woman, while I was performing, came up to me in the middle of the set and just asked, "Well, she just walked up to me, casual as can be, and just asked, do you have all this memorized?"
Wait, what?
She just, a woman in the middle of a show came up to me in Jackson, Mississippi, and asked if I had memorized the set on which I was performing on stage for her and others.
Oh, okay. That seems like the kind of thing someone in Mississippi would ask.
I said yes, and then she sat back down, and we didn't talk about it. We've never spoken again.
Was it you, Mina?
Oh.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Unless Mina is at this point in time closing in on 60 years old, I don't believe that it would be her.
No, not me. I'm like 19.
So we're saying, what are we saying for Kirby? We lost the answer, but Kirby, which Enclave mini PC are Kirby?
Kirby.
You know, he'd definitely be the princess because, like, I think I'd be the princess, and I like relate to Kirby a lot, and I feel like we'd agree on that.
So let's go to let's take a quick look at the princess and queen slide because those two are actually unified. So this is Princess Queen Islandel and or Princess Ysindra. So
yeah.
What you're
I
saying
can't
is
see the screen right now.
Kirby is a virgin that's
I
going
can
to be
see it.
sacrificed to
You should
Vatar?
try to see the screen if you
It's
can,
really
'cause
cool.
It's really helpful.
Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, me too.
So what we're looking at here with that is it could be Queen Islandel, could be Princess Ysindra, or it could be Kirby on the other side of that sewer grate.
That's cute.
Okay, but specifically, it'd be the princess.
Specifically the princess. So we're kicking the queen to the side. No Islandel whatsoever.
Yeah, no, I don't really care for her.
So
Me too.
Kirby of Selenheim. Got a nice ring to it, don't you think so, Mina?
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts?
Who?
David.
Yeah.
Back to you, David.
Back to you, David. Back to you, Nina.
Back to you, Mina.
Oh, who's that? Who?
From
Back to you, Robbie.
Jackson, Mississippi.
Okay, great.
Lovely this time.
Mm-hmm.
And you're also a princess.
I think I'd be the princess if I had to pick like an Enclave non-playable character.
I don't know if anybody wants to play Enclave, and I think that could be the issue that we're running into.
What's Enclave?
I have no idea what Enclave is.
Enclave is a third-person action-adventure game from the Starbreeze Studio people, the same people that brought us Darkness.
Please, yay!
What is this?
Darkness, Chronicles of Riddick.
Oh, right, Vin Diesel.
And Syndicate, the first-person shooter.
Oh, that Enclave. Yes. I'm stepping on something.
So, Mina, what's the good news from Jackson, Mississippi these days? Is the water? Was that where the water situation was?
There's not a lot of good news lately. Jackson's kind of. He always like ranks really low on like city lists. I've seen it ranked like bottom. They like closed down the planetarium recently.
What is this?
I don't know. There's not a lot to do, honestly.
You weren't in the path of totality today, were you?
Oh no, I wasn't.
I saw that.
They closed down the planetarium. They closed down the planetarium in my hometown too. What a bummer that it always is when they close down a planetarium. It's one of the few places where kids can be kids.
It's a real bummer because that place was like made in the 80s and it had like a really cool 80s vibe. I don't know. I'll miss it.
Robbie, I found something.
What do you got? What do you got over there, Allan?
I don't know what this is. It feels like grapes.
Old grapes.
I just found these grapes.
Well, don't eat them.
Why?
If they're old, they might have alcohol.
Okay, I'm just gonna eat a couple.
Cinnamina, or Mina, are you Cinnamina from the chat?
Yes, I'm Cinnamina.
Cinnamina, you're obviously you're here with us a lot. Did you have any questions that weren't answered from our Stephen Kick interview earlier in the show?
They're good.
Oh my god. No, honestly, I mean, I had a lot of fun with it. I haven't really heard of Stephen, and I had a lot of fun meeting him.
Well, he's a friend of the show. He'll be back. We've got lots of more games to quiz on him.
Can I ask you a favor? Next time that he's here, could I meet him?
Oh.
Does anyone want a grape? I found like a sort of like a grape bag. David Grape?
No, it's David Brown.
Oh, here you go.
Thank you so much for your call, Mina.
Did you get it?
Stay safe, stay healthy, and look. And even if they've taken away your planetarium, still find time to look to the stars, in the way that perhaps High Wizard Zale once looked at the stars while granting himself the power to thwart Vatar in his previous form, banishing him from the face of Selenheim. But also creating the rift from which we
what
have
are you
not
doing?
yet recovered.
Wait, can I ask one thing though?
Sure thing.
What is this?
Can you ask Steven, since you're really good friends with Steven, can you ask him to remaster the Zoombini game?
To remaster which one?
The Zoombini game. I can't remember the full name, but
Zoombini.
that would bring in
Did
a
you
ton
play
of
Zoombinis?
people.
What is this?
Did you play Zoombinis, Mina?
I like the Zoombini game.
I played it in school as well.
Robbie, you hear that?
I played Number Cruncher. Does people still talk? There's Number Cruncher still a thing?
What's Number Cruncher?
It was like a little green frog man that went around just biting numbers.
You ever play Kirby?
Thank you for your call, Mina. Cinnamina, always lovely to hear from people from the great state of Mississippi. The place where I had that one weird interaction that one time.
Was that Cinnamina?
That was Cinnamina.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
We've had such a wonderful time getting to know people and getting to know which Enclave main NPCs they are,
which one,
and which ones they identify with whom they identify with the most.
And which one was did they?
I feel like High Wizard Zale was the winner, but we also had a number of people. No one went for Electo, which I thought was interesting.
Electo?
Electo or Zerano were sort of left by the wayside. We got 2 votes for the princess.
Resembles a typical Roman emperor. A lot of those. So good.
Hoping that game becomes a staple segment. Low Vibe 75 could be. We could bring back. There's many other ways that we could draw that out. Nero. That's the one you go with.
Was it John the Apostate? Is that?
No, I think it was Electo.
Caller, you're on the air with EGI2.
Not popular pick, Electo.
Who are you? You're going with Electo.
Well, no, just commenting on the lack of popularity of Electo. This is Catherine from Philly.
Catherine from Philly, wonderful to hear your voice. And you're going with Electo because you feel like Electo has been left to the wayside. No one really is talking about Electo anymore. And perhaps just that the act of being forgotten is in some ways something that draws us to Electo, isn't it?
These grapes are really hard.
I think my individuality complex definitely compels me to choose the one that does not get picked, even no matter how that reflects on me. So, all this to be said, Electo, from what I understand, an evil person, a kind of a politician, So, but I got to go for it because it's the one, and I have to be special. I have to be different. So.
You have to be special.
Sorry.
You have to be different. It's Catherine from Philly, and of course,
is Electo in the picture?
What'd you say? Oh yeah, is there even Electo visible?
Same question.
Let me see it. I can see it.
Let's see. Yeah, Allan. Wait, Allan. I can't really look at the screen. Allan, can you describe to me?
It's a picture of Electo. Electo is quite beautiful and striking in posture.
Resembles a Roman emperor, I believe.
Oh.
Yes, it's sort of a Greek Roman sort of posture and quite an incredible physique and figure, very strong.
There's
and
no way to zoom in.
striking. Yeah. Can we zoom in on that? Okay. You can see the details on that are quite striking, and the texture in the skin is incredible, and the eyes. I find the eyes are beautiful and strong muscles and just sort of a incredible, sort of alluring, and Electo is kind of pointing at the camera, inviting the viewer to come close and give Electo a touch.
I imagine that with a Roman emperor, you might have someone addressing the Congress, addressing whatever legislature might be allowed to occur, because obviously, you had various legislative bodies go through being allowed to have some say in the governments of the Roman Empire. Then they would be squashed and then returned to the whole thousand flowers bloom thing.
George Bush wasn't even elected.
George Bush? Ithaca's
George
what?
Yeah.
Ithaca's George? I'm confused.
Ithaca's George's.
Ithaca's not in
And there were
Georgia.
two George Bush presidents as well. You think one would be bad enough over here.
And it's an election year, so get out the vote, you guys.
Elebits always comes to mind when we start talking about the Jedi Knight games.
We're talking about Elebits now.
Elebits? Wait, why does that connect to the Jedi Knight games?
Because
for you?
the lasso that you use to pick up the objects that the Elebits are under looks like a lightsaber.
What Elebits?
Oh,
Elebits are
yeah,
funny little creatures that hide underneath cars and pans, and you flip the cars and you flip the pans, and there they are, and you bring them to you, and it's
real life.
This is
This is it's real.
Life.
It's
Nintendo
real.
Wii, 3DS. Catherine from Philly.
It's okay. So I have something to say about Elebits. Elebits was a game. So I didn't really have. I only had. Okay, not only right. Some people didn't grow up with any consoles. I was lucky to grow up with Nintendo consoles. A lot of great ones. I know Allan did not grow up with consoles.
I had no consoles at all.
That sucked.
I had a computer room. I could go play with the PC on the computer room, play Sam and Max and those kind of clicky games.
Yeah, that's its own thing. That's definitely cool, right?
It is.
Respect to that. But so I was like, when I really got obsessed with Katamari Damacy, I gotta play something like that. So over the years, and it took me a very long time to play it. The first time I actually had access to Katamari Damacy was in college with the PS3 version. And that's obviously a long time later. But in the interim, I was always looking for games as a kid that would maybe satisfy that. And Elebits was on my radar as a result of this, and I got it. And it's fine, it's good.
So
it's
you know
it's an
Elebits.
EGI2. I'm big on Elebits. I like it kind of now, but it's complicated.
Isn't that great when Robbie just says something weird like Elebits and someone on the phone just knows what that is?
Catherine from Philly, I want to say something because a lot of times you've been quick on the draw when it comes to the classic gaming sort of commentary. I wonder how you felt about the Stephen Kick interview. If there was any bits and bytes of information, if there was any things that you glommed onto that he said, or perhaps there was a game
And more grapes.
You wished that we had talked about.
That's a really great question. I mean, I'm happy to answer.
Part says War Gods, and I have to agree.
What'd you say? Sorry.
Napoleon Bonaparte says War Gods, and I have to agree.
Sure. Oh yeah, absolutely. So I haven't really played too many Night Dive games. From what I understand, they're well done. A lot of the value of what that studio offers is just high quality software engineering now applied to things that are, of a forgotten era or whatever. But at the same time, like I don't have a lot of hands-on experience with that era in many cases.
Yep.
So like I'm thinking of the things like when you were like, oh, pitch games, like to the chat. I was like, I don't know what to pull from because I don't even know what would be on the radar. You were like, oh, you got to think about it in the style of that thing, and I'm like, I don't even know what that is. You know what I mean? So I don't know. But I was happy with the interview. I like what he was saying.
Mm-hmm.
I like the banter. I like your confrontation of him. That was good as well.
It's a love-hate relationship with these scumbags because they're taking all of our money. We're buying all their games. They try to give us nothing. But so it's up to us to work hard to get the truth, to squeeze the truth out of them. Catherine Philly, like blood from a toad.
Yeah. You got to hold the powers that be accountable.
Thank you, Nature's Vegetable, to remind me to drink water.
And thank you for the 10 tier 1 subs.
Let's get that hype train going again. Happened earlier. Let's bring it back. Now we got Allan. Allan can help. Allan will be able to keep track of it.
Yeah, let's do a hype train. Let's get the hype train emojis. The train emoji.
I did call Steven a scumbag, but I wanted to say that it was with love. It was with a great deal of respect for everything that he tries to do and has been doing with the games genre ever since he got his hands on that original System Shock 2 re-release that preceded this whole business that he's now finding himself in. I mean, that was before the Kex engine was even a...
What's a Kex engine?
The Kex engine is the engine that they use to... They basically take the source code, they put it in this new engine, they rebuild the game using a more modern...
Why?
Engine that's more friendly to modern consoles.
Why?
Well, because it runs with a better frame rate. It doesn't crash your computer.
I bet that code looks really good.
Quite amazing.
This game PO that they remastered, it's almost like instead of P code, where the P stands for pretty.
Pretty code. They should have called it pretty
code. That was interesting to hear. Genuinely, I was like, damn, that's like something that we would not have learned most likely. So like that's what EGI2 can do, I guess.
I think I dropped some.
So.
I can't stop thinking about War Gods.
War gods?
What about war gods?
Guys? God bless the rain.
Now that's a game I can stop thinking about, but I can't stop thinking about War Gods. There's something about these games that sort of like the in-between period between Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, Mortal Kombat Trilogy, and Mortal Kombat 4 from the Midway people.
I guess. I don't know Midway. That's beyond me.
From Philly, you have digitized fighters on 3D backdrops. I mean, that's crazy. It looks insane.
Yes, that does look quite crazy.
And in the same arcade, you have Mace the Dark Age right besides.
Wow, that's what. Wait, okay. So they had. Why would they have chosen to do 3D environments?
Because John Boone or Ed Boone and all the others had left Midway and were going off to do things like crazy things like Dao Fang Fist of the Lotus and Kakudu Tojin.
Is that a movie?
You're out of here.
Catherine from Philly, thank you so much for calling in. It's always wonderful to hear your voice, and your thoughts are always clear, concise, and well preserved.
Thank you so much for the call.
Nice to meet you.
Take care, everybody.
Thank you. Back to you.
And now we reach the point of our time in the evening where it is important, where we turn to the special correspondent, EGI special correspondent, Allan Resnick. They're on the street. They're checking in on the pulse of the games industry, community, culture, in his special report. I'm so excited for this special report after the incredible and thoughtful and conversation-provoking report on Blast Radius.
I'm so glad you liked it.
I could only, I wanted to return to the PlayStation 1 vehicular combat, not necessarily to say that space shooters are vehicular I mean, you are in a space vehicle, obviously. You're out in the outer space scenario. You're up there and dealing with all of the other spaceships and capital ships and dodging asteroids? Relationships driving the narrative forward, but let's go the opposite way and go down into the depths, the critical depth, if you will, with our special report on critical depth. And remember, Allan, you were here when I was mentioning critical depth to Stephen Kick.
Yes, I was here.
So obviously, circling back to this is going to be quite a treat, David Brown. If you want to sit back, let your hair down, tremendously excited to have you here for the Critical Depths.
What? The what?
Critical Depth on the PlayStation 1 by the
special report?
Special report. EGI special correspondent Allan Resnick special report. Critical Depth, take it away.
Okay. On what?
PlayStation 1.
Of what? Critical Depths.
Critical Depth.
Okay. Critical Depths was released in 1998 for the PlayStation 1. And it was released by Qualcomm Electrics and released to much fanfare because Critical Depth, what is it called?
Critical Depth.
Critical Depths explores the adventures of your captain Sam Fish. Sam Fish as he explores the critical depths of the
Douglas McCragen.
That's the name of the ship. Douglas McCragen. Sam Fish is the captain of the Douglas McCragen, which explores the critical depths. When this first released in 1990, did I say 8? On PlayStation 1, the fanfare there was a critical darling. It was a critical darling because of its unique combat controls. Its unique. You use the B button to slash and hack, but it's a shoot 'em up. It's basically a shoot 'em up, but instead of bullets, you're using bubbles. And the bubbles, because it's it's mostly an underwater game because you hop off the ship. You have this sort of scuba tank that you wear as you swim, and so you're fighting fish and you're fighting fish men. It's interesting because Sam's name is Fishman. But yeah, so this is a fan favorite for sure. It's a incredible fast-paced action game. They do have a co-op mode which you can play with a friend if you have a friend. I love this game. It was quite an adventure. No, it's interesting. It's interesting because normally when in these games, the water level is the one level that everyone loves. It's their most favorite level. This is sort of different because it's almost all water levels, except for there's one level where it's a dream sequence where you're on land, but it's kind of not as fun as the water levels because your controls are limited. And it sold about 100 million copies. People bought this game. You can still catch it now because now there's like a sort of there's a remaster version of it that recently came out, so you can play that. It's in the PlayStation 5 store. And what else? Do you have any other questions about that?
Well, what are people saying, Allan? Of course, in your research for the Critical Depths, people, of course, had issues with the graphics engine there.
Yes.
In terms of like, it almost felt like going backward with some of the Twisted Metal games having taken place, of course, in kind of sometimes quite cramped urban environments, but even the suburban environments that were more open, more multi-layered. Critical Depth still struggled to give a consistent frame rate. I would say kind of attractive texture work, and of course the issue of pop-in was greatly perhaps, Allan, only
bingo
only the excess of pop-in was only exceeded by the G-Police games.
That is yes, there was an issue with pop-in. There was a high polygon count because originally they were planning on targeting the PlayStation 2 console was coming out, so they were getting ready for this sort of higher polygonal count, and they were using these sort of bitmap texture maps that used sort of spatial computing that was worked on PlayStation 2, but then they found out that they had to bump up for a Christmas release, so it was released around Christmas, and so then they had to sort of backtrack and scale things down for the PlayStation 1, which worked, but of course they had to sacrifice some resolution, and so there was some pop-in, and that's all been chronicled pretty clearly. Everyone's always talking about that, and we do know that, and that's a shame because it's such a pretty game in terms of the stylings of it.
Is it better now?
No, it's because the way they ported it now, it's not much better. It still has sort of pop-in issues, but they've added these sort of new characters, these underwater characters that have this realistic sort of shimmer, this sort of skin that you do want to reach into the screen and touch and kind of imagine what that would feel like to be touching a fish, but the fish also has the intellectual maturity of a real a real human. So you can have relations, you can kind of get married and live a full life with these fish people and just kiss and have kids, and it's just a fun game. It is fun, and I did play it. Back to you, Robbie.
Back to you, Allan, and thank you for that report
course.
on Critical Depth from Single Track on the
Have you played it?
Critical Depth?
Yeah.
Yes.
Me too.
David, your thoughts?
Sounds great. I want to check it out.
What is it about what Allan said that most excites you about Critical Depth on the PlayStation 1?
My sister she would swim, and I wasn't very good at it ever.
You said your sister could swim in the could swim?
Yeah.
Could swim in the critical depths.
Yeah, I don't think she went down so far, but yeah.
Where is the critical depth?
Grandpa used to be a diver in
Grandpa?
In the Navy. He would dive.
Navy diver, blow up submarines, set off mines, that kind of thing. Man's man. Frog people, they call him.
Yeah, pretty much. He passed away.
Oh, shoot. I'm so sorry. But it was old?
Yeah, it was unrelated to the diving and the explosion.
Because if you dive, and this is actually part of the gameplay of Critical Depth, if you dive too deep and you pop up too high to get to the ship, what was the name of the ship?
Douglas McCracken.
If you pop up too quick, you
By
get
the makers of
the
Twisted
pressure.
Metal.
The pressure will kill you quick, and I don't know if that's how your grandpa passed.
If you dive in the game, you dive in real life.
Is that what the Bens are?
Yes.
Mercedes.
Napoleon Bonaparte just wrote the words Rampage World Tour. I have to agree.
Why? Who wrote that?
Do we have callers coming in right now?
Robbie, I don't want to do more
Let's open
calls.
up the phone line. Let's open up the phone lines and see what people are saying about Critical Depth, the PlayStation 1.
I don't want to take calls.
Okay, we won't take any calls. Next up, we have, of course, we're winding down the evening with It's the Arts.
Yay! Oh, my favorite segment.
What?
What's that?
We got we're missing the front card there.
It's the arts.
It's the arts. Sometimes.
So sound off in the
sometimes
chat
it does happen.
with arts emojis.
It's arts time. It's wonderful to have all these people send us in these beautiful images of work.
Wow, look at that.
This is, of course, a Lego man sitting on, painted to look like Blue Leader not from the X-Men, but Blue Leader, the character whom I used to dress up as and give operatic lectures in front of people. David, were you ever at any of the shows that I did in Chicago with the Blue Leader?
I saw you do Best Buy in Chicago. I don't think I saw Blue Leader.
It's too bad. It was a quite fun time. I explained a lot very quickly, and to see it represented here, sitting at what looks like on Next Generation magazine, which is obviously.
He looks like a 90s Cyclops. He looks
Who
like
is that?
uncanny X-Men
What
Cyclops.
the hell?
What the hell's happening right now? Caller, who are you? Where are you calling from?
Hello.
It's Cody from Florida, and I've seen all the Blue Leader. I've seen all the Blue Leader specials. I've watched Blue Leader videos.
I promise you that the Blue Leader videos that exist on the internet do not capture the performances that I one of the greatest regrets of my life is not capturing a proper Blue Leader performance and putting it on the internet.
I've seen Blue Leader lead the siege on the castle. I saw the video. Blue Leader had led an army of.
That's Dark Fortress, the Cult Master of Space, and that's obviously is its own separate sort of mythology there.
You do a lot of blue characters.
Do I?
Best Buy's blue. This guy's Blue Leader.
I do but I like the green lightsaber. What does that say about me?
Robbie, I said I didn't want to take any calls.
Well, Cody from Florida plays by his own rules, and he, in the same way that horrifying sort of tentacle at the end of our continent plays by its own set of rules and has its own kind of separate parallel reality. Cody, in so many ways, I believe, embodies that spirit, both good and bad.
I do. I've just been me love you long time, Robbie, and me love the mythology that you built throughout the years. You did Game of the Year awards back in 2001, I think.
Can you hang up on the calls?
Cody from Florida, thank you for your call. And we do have to consider 2001. No, I'm not buying it.
Enclave hadn't even come out yet.
Enclave hadn't even come out yet. The 2001 Halo, you had Devil May Cry, Grand Theft Auto 3, Oddworld, Munch's Odyssey.
Abe's Exodus.
No, not Exodus. That came out in 1998. Thank you for your call, Cody. What were we talking about? The arts.
Oh yeah.
So from Giovanni H comes this beautiful recognition of not only a past iteration, a past attempt at art making and visual.
What is that?
War making.
Describe
but
it.
also on the bed of the Next Generation magazine that we see here in front of us. One of the best magazines to ever be printed in terms of the games genre as a whole.
Describe it.
It's a lot of text, Allan. It's a lot of text and very few screenshots.
No, I can see it.
Next up, we have, of course, coming from Catherine from Philly. It's just a screenshot from the GOG store page of Divine Divinity. 20% off for Divine Divinity. I'm guessing that this is a plea from Catherine to see if this is a good deal. And I'm going to go ahead and say, if you can get it for 99 cents, I believe that I've seen it for as low as 99 cents on GOG.com. I'd probably just focus on that and maybe skip over that because
it might have expired too.
These action RPGs from the people that the Divinity games just are so uneven, aren't they, David?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And like I was saying,
we don't really get into the good stuff until we get to
Plus the offer, I think, expired already.
Shit.
Divinity and Divinity? Is it just Divinity? No, wait, was it?
What?
Divinity? Which is the one that's on Switch, Allan?
Mario?
Thank you for Catherine from Phillies, but as the saying goes, hold. So hold on that until you get a better price, $4.79, even if it is a classic. By some measures, that 4.3 seems a bit high for me.
I like the brushstrokes. And
Beyond Divinity is what
the
I'm
texture, and I love the big smile.
No, Divinity 2. It is Divinity 2. Male CTY, Divinity 2. But there's some sort of extra bits to that nomenclature, isn't there, David?
Yeah.
What is this?
Original Sin. Thank you so much. So Divinity Original Sin and Divinity Original Sin 2. If you can get those for $4.79, now that's a steal. Next up, we do have a video from Cody from Florida.
Thank you, Cody.
And this is a wonderful video. This is a glimpse inside the mind of madness that exists in that terrible, like I said, extremity at the base of our long-suffering society. The kind of business that you get up to when you live in the place where the further south you get, the farther north you are, and the further away from the coasts you get, the further into the further into the interior you get, the closer you get to the heart of darkness, but also Lake Okeechobee.
Cool.
Thank you, Cody from Florida.
Thank you, Cody. It's the arts.
It's the arts. And next up, we have a special gift from Ryan from Rhode Island. Let's see it. The video, and let him have it, Ryan.
An antisocial man mesmerized by flashing lights, sunken in eyes 'cause sleepy must fight, clutching joysticks till blisters pop, never knowing when to stop, sweating cold brew as his gasping heart hops. This tiring jest, solving an expiring test, his life requires rest, but only after acquiring every last
Ah. What was that?
That was and back to you, Ryan from Rhode Island. Well, that was something, wasn't it, David?
Like Eminem.
That was really cool.
Which one?
Yeah.
So what's up? What's happening? What do we have next? Oh, I guess that's it. That's the end of the show.
Oh, okay, great.
What's that poll say? Vengeance of the Blood Angels. Napoleon Bonaparte has pinned the message "Space Hulk, Vengeance of the Blood Angels," and I have to agree.
Let's get a hype train going.
It's a bit late in the show. We do have. Let's take one more caller and see what they're feeling this evening. Caller, you're on the air with EGI2. How are you feeling? Be honest.
I'm feeling really pumped. Today's stream has been super exciting. I hope Allan's doing all right.
Allan?
He seems like he's having a bit of time. He's at least enjoying grapes. Which
I'm good.
You know, I guess.
I'm okay.
Good to hear. So, and then with Stephen Kick, I'm excited.
Is Stephen here?
Stephen left 2 hours ago.
Is coming, and I'm glad you got to the bottom of some of what might be coming in the future.
Absolutely. So, caller, you're feeling good about the show. How are you feeling in your life? What are your dreams like? What are you? I'm talking about the dreams not only of the dreamer, that is when the eyes close and the mind wanders, but also the dreams that you might have here in the waking world. Whether or not we have the childlike dreams of becoming things like firefighters or frame grinders, or if you have some more, let's call it purine thoughts.
Well, I guess in terms of dreams and how they're going, well, they're as good as they can be. Like, sometimes we can't meet the wildest dreams of our life, but at the end of the day, it comes down to we want to keep working towards that, and if we want to just look at what is in front of us down the line and take the chance, always want to, and it's just, you know, some things might be rough going right now, but you know, I guess for me, I guess it's going as okay as it should be.
Well, let me ask you this: if you could close your eyes tonight and wake up somewhere tomorrow, where would that be? And what would your circumstances be?
I'm closing my eyes right now. I'm thinking long and hard, and right now I'm imagining that I don't know why I keep bringing it up, but tomorrow I feel like I'd be at an arcade right now, and I would be hearing the sounds of many a game. I mean, there's going to be a lot of the known stuff. But, there's a game called Crazy Climber, and you know, I always come back to that one. As hard as that one can be, it's like a Crazy Climber is a bit like a metaphor of what we do in life. You know, we're always climbing up. We're always trying to dodge the people, the obstacles that come our path, whether it be like flower pots that fall on us, or like birds that take a crap on us, or big apes that try to punch us out. You know, no matter how hard we try, we could always be putting those credits in and just keep going at it and just make it. I mean, yes, the high score, but just that you've ascended, literally. And I guess that's what I'm thinking right now.
Then are you there when you're there? Are you there on your own, or are you there with others?
I guess it would be. I mean, I guess there would be others there, but they would be playing the hot games, like, you know, like the Simpsons arcade or Donkey Kong. But I guess I'd just be the only guy playing Crazy Climber, you know.
So you're saying kind of like Zorana.
Indeed.
Thank you for your call. That was EGI2 Stream 16. We'll see you guys again next week.